Chapter 773. The aura came from the City Lord Mansion, and this aura was getting stronger and stronger, faintly showing signs of rising to the Battle Sage level. Qin Feiyong was no stranger to this aura. It was the aura of the City Lord. He was surprised. Was the City Lord about to break through? If that was the case, suddenly, the corners of his mouth curled up into a playful smile. No matter which realm he was breaking through, the biggest taboo was to be disturbed. Because if he was disturbed, it was very likely that he would fail to break through and fail. Then he would have to start all over again. What he was thinking at the moment was to go to the City Lord Mansion to stir up trouble. If the City Lord failed to break through to the Battle Sage level, it would definitely be more painful than killing him directly. Whoosh! He did as he said. He used the phantom steps, leaving behind a series of afterimages, and rushed toward the City Lord Mansion. What is he doing? Seeing this, the crowd below could not help but reveal a puzzled look. The middle-aged woman and the other two were also puzzled. But suddenly, the Black Mountain leader seemed to have thought of something and roared in shock and anger. Quickly stop him. He wants to hinder the City Lord from breaking through to the Battle Sage level. What? Damn it! The middle-aged woman and the quicksand leader immediately changed their expressions. Whoosh! The three of them did not dare to delay for a moment. They hurriedly dragged their seriously injured bodies and chased after Qin Feiyong. Now, the three of them were definitely no match for Qin Feiyong. But as long as the City Lord broke through to the Battle Sage level, killing Qin Feiyong would be as easy as slaughtering a dog. Therefore, no accident must happen to the City Lord. No matter what, they had to hold Qin Feiyong back. Although the three of them were seriously injured, their cultivation level was far higher than Qin Feiyong's. In addition, they had mastered superior auxiliary battle arts, so in terms of speed, Qin Feiyong was at a disadvantage. In a few blinks of an eye, the three of them were in front of Qin Feiyong. The middle-aged woman stared at Qin Feiyong and said, "Don't even think about it. With just you guys?" Qin Feiyong's eyes were full of disdain. "I admit that you are very strong, but as long as we don't fight you head-on, your ability to reflect attacks is useless." The middle-aged woman sneered. "You're pretty smart," Qin Feiyong said with a smile. That was right. The ability of the returning character formula was to give oneself a taste of their own medicine. In layman's terms, it was borrowing the enemy's strength. If there was nothing to borrow, then the return formula would be useless. But his means were not limited to the return formula. "Do you want to pester me? Let's see if you have the ability to do so." Qin Feiyong chuckled and stretched out his hand in the air. Clang! Following a deafening explosion, a 3-foot-long blue sword appeared out of thin air. It was the saint weapon that he had snatched from Mu Qing's clansmen. As soon as the combat sword appeared, a terrifying holy aura surged out in all directions like a tidal wave. Whether it was the middle-aged woman and her companions, or the people in the city below, they all felt as if they had fallen into the abyss of hell, and their bodies were cold. In the meantime, the white-clothed woman's pupils shrank slightly. "I got you in Sky Thunder City, so from now on, you'll be called the Sky Thunder Sword." Qin Feiyong rubbed the blade and muttered to himself. His movements were extremely gentle, as if he was caressing his child. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly raised his head and glanced at the three of them. "If you have the ability, take this sword of mine." He held the Sky Thunder Sword in his hand and slashed in the air. A dazzling sword chi suddenly burst out and slashed toward the three of them. The Black Mountain leader said in a low voice, "This sword is not ordinary." The quicksand leader nodded and said in surprise, "Judging from its aura, it seems to be holy aura. Is this sword a saint weapon?" But before he finished speaking, a crisp and pleasant voice rang out. "It doesn't seem to be. It is a saint weapon. Quickly dodge." It was the white-clothed woman who spoke. At this moment her face was full of seriousness. Saint weapon. Hearing these two words, the middle-aged woman and her companions trembled both physically and mentally. He even had a saint weapon. Who was this little bastard? The power of a saint weapon was comparable to a 9-star battle saint. Even if it was not awakened and could only use 1/10 of its power, it was enough to kill them instantly. The three of them did not dare to be negligent and quickly dodged. Although the three of them had dodged, The sword chi slashed toward the city below with irresistible force. If no one stopped it, Ice City would definitely be destroyed. Whoosh! Just as the three of them dodged, Qin Feiyang swooped down and rushed toward the city governor's mansion at lightning speed. He did not care about the sword chi, because he knew that someone would take care of it. As expected, the white-clothed woman, who had been watching from the side, could not help but frown when she saw Qin Feiyang's back that was rapidly disappearing. Whoosh! Suddenly, she flickered and appeared below the sword chi. Then, she raised her arm and opened her palm. Battle chi surged in her palm. A white ball of light quickly condensed. The ball of light was the size of a palm. There were electric arcs flashing on its surface and it emitted an unparalleled destructive aura. Go! The white-clothed woman looked up at the sword chi and shouted in a low voice. The white ball of light in her hand was like a meteor, meeting the sword chi head-on. Boom! In an instant, the white ball of light and the sword chi met in the sky and immediately exploded with a thunderous sound. Countless people's ears were spurting blood at this moment. There was a rumbling sound in their heads. Puff! At the same time, the white-clothed woman also spat out a mouthful of blood and her face quickly turned pale. Her seemingly thin and delicate body was also trembling. Obviously, this collision had also caused her to suffer severe injuries. However, the sword chi also disintegrated in the loud sound and finally stopped this disaster. Boom! However, at the same time, above the city governor's mansion, another terrifying wave of air erupted. Everyone looked over and their faces changed drastically, especially the middle-aged woman and the other two. Their faces were as pale as paper. They saw Qin Feiyang standing proudly above the city governor's mansion. His black hair and clothes fluttered in the wind, like a god of war descending to the world. At this moment, he raised his arm and pointed his index finger at the city governor's mansion. A terrifying aura spread out from his fingertip. Qin Feiyang, I beg you don't. The middle-aged woman cried out, her face full of pleading. However, Qin Feiyang turned a deaf ear to her. An invisible force gushed out from his fingertip and rushed toward the city governor's mansion aggressively. No, I beg you, do a good deed and let him go. The middle-aged woman suddenly collapsed in the void, her face full of despair. However, seeing that the city governor's mansion was about to be destroyed, the white-clothed woman actually landed on top of the city governor's mansion in a few steps. Qin Feiyang, don't be too ruthless. Where it's possible to make mistakes, one should forgive them, she said coldly and waved her hand. That invisible force directly disintegrated and dissipated into nothingness. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and looked at the white-clothed woman seriously. This woman's aura was unusually strong. According to his judgment, it was definitely stronger than the Sky Thunder City's Tower Master. Suddenly, his gaze focused and looked at the white-clothed woman's eyes. A trace of surprise crawled up his face. Why did this woman's eyes and gaze have a sense of déjà vu? Suddenly, he remembered. The Sky Thunder City's Tower Master. This woman's eyes and the Sky Thunder City's Tower Master's eyes were extremely similar. How could this be? Could it be that these two people had some relationship? Just as he was in shock, a mighty holy aura, with the city governor's mansion as the center, rolled out in all directions. Breakthrough. Qin Feiyang frowned. Haha, the city governor has broken through. Qin Feiyang, your death date has arrived. The middle-aged woman and the other two were also in high spirits and laughed loudly. Qin Feiyang was too lazy to pay attention to them. He directly looked at the white-clothed woman and said, if I don't kill them, they will kill me. Is this what you want to see? The white-clothed woman said, you slaughtered the Min clan, Wang clan, and Li clan, 3 major tribes, 3 to 400,000 people. You should be killed. Qin Feiyang laughed and shook his head. I thought you were also a reasonable person, but I didn't expect you to be so stubborn. The white-clothed woman frowned slightly, and there was a trace of displeasure on her face. Whoosh! At this time, a white figure flew out from the city lord's mansion and stood opposite Qin Feiyang, his entire body surging with aura. It was the Ice City governor. He looked at Qin Feiyang as if he was looking at a dead man, and said, how do you want to die? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. Don't be so confident. War saints are not necessarily invincible. The middle-aged woman suddenly roared in grief. He killed our son, you must kill him. What? The city lord's expression changed. He looked at the middle-aged woman and asked anxiously, "Where's the corpse?" "Sir, the young city lord is here. Below." A guard soared into the air, holding the purple-clothed youth's corpse in his hands. "Damned beast!" The city lord roared. His hair stood on end, and his entire body was filled with a murderous aura. "Little bastard, today I'll make sure you don't even have the chance to be a ghost." He stepped toward Qin Feiyong step by step like a mad beast, his holy aura shaking the world. "Then come and try." Qin Feiyong smiled coldly, grabbed the heavenly thunder sword, and swung it in the air. Clang! A wave of sword chi rushed out, its sharpness overwhelming, and even the void was crazily twisting. Seeing this, the middle-aged woman hurriedly reminded, "Be careful, he has a sacred weapon, you can't fight against it." "What? He even has a sacred weapon?" The city lord turned pale with fright and hurriedly used an auxiliary battle art to dodge. However, the white-clothed woman was going all out again. Because if she did not stop the sword chi, Ice City would suffer again. And now, the city lord's eyes were bloodshot. Qin Feiyong obviously would not care about the life and death of the people of Ice City. Therefore only she could care about it. However, she could barely block one or two sword chi. After all, an unawakened sacred weapon could only exert 1/10 of its power, but if there were too many sword chi, even she would die here. Boom! After disintegrating the sword chi, she looked up at Qin Feiyong and the city lord and shouted, "Both of you stop." The city lord roared, "Impossible, he killed my son. He must die today." "Then come," Qin Feiyong said lightly. The tower master frowned and said in a deep voice, "Then go out of the city, don't hurt the innocent here. Follow me if you have the guts." The city lord glanced coldly at Qin Feiyong, then flew out of the city with a murderous aura. "How dare you be rude to the young master, die." But at this moment, an ice-cold voice exploded. Then, a woman in white appeared out of thin air in front of the city lord. It was the mysterious woman. Chapter 774. In the face of this sudden change, not only did Qin Feiyong not react, everyone present was also confused. Where did this woman come from? But when they reacted, all of them sucked in a breath of cold air. One had to know. The city lord had already stepped into the War Saint realm and his strength was through the heavens. But in the end, this woman just waved her hand lightly and instantly killed the city lord. How strong was she? Who are you? Why are you helping the tyrant and helping Qin Feiyong kill him? After the city lord's wife came back to her senses, she immediately roared with grief and indignation. Just now, she seemed to have mentioned the word young master. Could it be that Qin Feiyong is her young master? At the same time, the leader of the Black Mountain tribe also looked at the mysterious lady in surprise and secretly sent a sound transmission to the leader of the Quicksand tribe. When the leader of the Quicksand tribe heard this, his pupils shrank slightly. If Qin Feiyong was really this woman's young master, then Qin Feiyong's identity was not simple, because the aura this woman exuded was even stronger than the pagoda master. Such an existence was not something they could provoke. At the same time, the mysterious lady walked in front of Qin Feiyong and said respectfully, "Young master, your subordinate did not protect you well and frightened you. Please forgive me." Ugh! Qin Feiyong was stunned. This damned woman, what did she want to do again? The mysterious lady smiled strangely, pointed to the pagoda master and the city lord's wife and said, "Young master, do you want to get rid of them too?" At this moment, the leaders of the Black Mountain tribe and the Quicksand tribe trembled and hurriedly knelt in the air. "Young Master Qin, please spare our lives. We were all forced by her, so we had no choice but to attack you." The two of them angrily pointed at the city lord's wife and begged Qin Feiyong. "You," the city lord's wife looked at the two of them angrily. "Did we say anything wrong? You two, one of you is the leader of the Qingyuan tribe, and the other is the city lord of the Ice City. You usually order us around and make us follow your lead. If we didn't listen to you, you would think of ways to harm us. I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. We've been tolerating you for a long time." The two leaders shouted angrily. Venomous slander. The city lord's wife was furious. She knew that the two of them saw that the mysterious madam was too powerful and didn't want to implicate themselves. They wanted to cut ties with her. Actually, this was completely understandable. If it were her, she would have done the same. However, she really couldn't tolerate this kind of creating something out of nothing and betraying her trust. On the other side, the pagoda master glanced at the city lord's wife and the other two. He also looked at the mysterious madam as if he was thinking of something. The city lord's wife and the two leaders were still arguing. But Qin Feiyong had no time to pay attention to them. He looked at the mysterious madam, and his eyes were flickering. Suddenly, the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. If he didn't guess wrongly, the mysterious madam definitely wanted to continue to set him up. Furthermore, in order to trick him, he even put down his pride and dignity to pretend to be his subordinate. He really knew how to put in a lot of effort. Since that was the case, he might as well beat them at their own game. We'll talk about their business later. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and took out the cluster of elixir fire that he had snatched from the temple. First, help me erase the blood contract in the elixir fire. If the mysterious madam wanted to set him up, he definitely couldn't stop her. Instead of trying to resist, it was better to give up directly and take advantage of her first. And the blood contract in this cluster of elixir fire had always been a thorn in his heart. Because as long as this blood contract was not erased, the netherworld devil flame would not be able to advance to the 6th grade. Therefore, Qin Feiyong simply took this opportunity to ask the mysterious madam for help. And under the watchful eyes of everyone, the mysterious madam had to help. Because she had already said that Qin Feiyong was her young master. If she didn't help, her fake identity would naturally arouse suspicion. The most important thing was, that time, when she destroyed the Min clan, Li clan and Wang clan, she deliberately left some alive. The purpose of leaving these alive was to let the news spread quickly. But because of this, her current situation became very awkward. Because the survivors of the 3 major tribes had all seen her true face. If she fell out with Qin Feiyong here, then the rumor that Qin Feiyong had slaughtered the 3 major tribes would be dispelled. Then all that she had done would be tantamount to falling short of success. Therefore, Qin Feiyong's sudden move made her very angry. Looking at the deflated mysterious madam, Qin Feiyong was very happy in his heart. He had been repeatedly set up by this woman, and he had been very unhappy in his heart for a long time. This time he finally got back at her. Cough cough. He coughed and frowned. What? You don't even listen to this young master, do you want to rebel? Seeing Qin Feiyong becoming more and more proud, the mysterious madam couldn't help but be furious. But in the end, she still chose to endure and respectfully said, "How dare I not listen to young master's words?" After that, the battle power surged and pounced on the elixir fire. At the same time, Great Qin Empire Temple. On the balcony of a courtyard, a beautiful woman in white was sitting cross-legged, closing her eyes and meditating. This person was the temple master of the Pill Hall. Puff! Suddenly, her delicate body trembled, and she spat out a mouthful of blood. What happened? The next moment, she opened her eyes and her eyes were filled with shock. Immediately after, she closed her eyes again and carefully sensed for a moment. Swoosh! When she opened her eyes again, her face was filled with disbelief. He actually erased the blood contract of the elixir fire. How did he do it? Now where exactly was he hiding? Swoosh! After pondering for a moment, she stood up and opened a portal, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Forgotten continent. At this moment the ice city was in dead silence, and everyone was in danger. The mysterious madam retracted her battle power and said, "Young master, the blood contract has been erased. Do you have any other orders?" Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed, and sent the elixir fire to the ancient castle. He smiled and stretched out his hand, saying, "Give me your Qinkuan bag." What? The mysterious madam was furious, and transmitted her voice, "Brat, I advise you not to push your luck." Qin Feiyong secretly sneered. "Why didn't I see you restrain yourself when you tricked me?" Last time in the Sky Thunder City, Mu Qing's housekeeper personally said that the mysterious madam was a war emperor. The war emperor's Qinkuan bag must have a lot of treasures. The mysterious madam's gaze turned cold, and she secretly said, "So you want to fight with me to the end?" Qin Feiyong smiled faintly, and transmitted his voice, "It's not that I want to fight with you. It's you who wants to scheme against me. The mysterious madam looked at Qin Feiyong and suddenly smiled. Looking at that smile, Qin Feiyong's pores tightened, and an uneasy premonition arose in his heart. Brat, you want to take this opportunity to threaten me? You're still too inexperienced. The mysterious madam transmitted her voice, and the smile on her face became brighter. Suddenly, she waved her hand, and a terrifying aura surged, blasting into the city below. Accompanied by a loud sound, the entire ice city disappeared from the ground in an instant. Only the Pill Pagoda was still stubbornly sitting in the dust. Other than the Tower Master Qin Feiyong, the mayor's wife, and the chiefs of the Black Mountain Tribe and the Quicksand Tribe, no one from Frost Ice City survived. All of them were annihilated along with the city. Seeing this, everyone was dumbfounded, including the Pagoda Master. The leaders of the Black Mountain and Quicksand Tribes were so scared that their souls left their bodies, and they pissed their pants. One had to know. The Ice City covered an area of dozens of miles, and there were at least 560,000 people. They were all killed in an instant. It was simply too savage. Too terrifying. Qin Feiyong suddenly raised his head, looked at the mysterious madam and roared, "Do you still have any humanity? So that's how it is." Hearing Qin Feiyong's words, the Pagoda Master muttered to himself, and a trace of understanding appeared in his eyes. Humanity? Young master, don't be too naive. It's only right and proper for the strong to dominate the fate of the weak. The mysterious madam sighed deeply and waved her hand again. The city lord's wife and the leaders of the two tribes also died tragically on the spot. You still call me young master? Qin Feiyong frowned. Now, the mysterious madam's attitude and tone was as if she was teaching an ignorant junior. Moreover, previously, the conversation between the two of them was done through voice transmission. So even if the mysterious madam destroyed the Ice City and killed everyone, everyone would still think that the mysterious madam was his subordinate. At that time, this blood debt would still be counted on him. After killing the city lord's wife and the other two, the mysterious madam looked at the Pagoda Master again, and a light flashed in the depths of her eyes. Immediately, she looked at Qin Feiyong, bowed and said, "Young master, the Lord asked me to protect you, and I will certainly do my best. If I have offended you in any way, I hope the young master will forgive me." What do you mean? Why didn't you kill the Pagoda Master? Qin Feiyong frowned tightly. But then, his eyebrows were full of hostility. This damned woman deliberately left the Pagoda Master alive. What he said was also deliberately said for the Pagoda Master to hear. His goal was to continue framing him. But suddenly, Qin Feiyong felt his body lighten, and instantly appeared beside the woman in white. Qin Feiyong looked at her in confusion. The Pagoda Master ignored him and looked at the mysterious madam, saying, "Who exactly are you? Why did you do these things?" The mysterious madam was stunned and asked, "What are you talking about? Why don't I understand?" "Stop pretending. I've been to the first area and just came back yesterday. From the survivors of the Sky Thunder City, I found out that you were the one who stole the Sky Thunder Flame, and you were also the one who killed my sister Mu Choyu. And at that time you even wanted to kill Qin Feiyong. How could you be his subordinate?" The woman in white said in a deep voice, a cold light surging in her eyes. The mysterious madam was stunned and laughed. "Then why didn't you say so earlier? You made me put on a show for nothing." "I didn't say it because I didn't know what the relationship between you and Qin Feiyong was. At first, I also suspected that Qin Feiyong and you might really be in cahoots. What you did in the Sky Thunder City might also be an act. Otherwise, why would my sister die while he was still alive when facing the same attack? But when I saw Qin Feiyong's reaction when you destroyed the Ice City and killed everyone, I knew that I had misunderstood him. What happened in the second area was all your doing. It has nothing to do with him," the woman in white said. "Finally, there's someone who understands." Chapter 775. The mysterious lady glanced at the white-clothed woman, then looked at Qin Feiyong and said jokingly, "Are you thinking that you don't have to be the scapegoat anymore?" Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows. This woman, could it be that she was plotting something again? The mysterious lady ignored Qin Feiyong and looked at the white-clothed woman with a strange smile. "Thank you for reminding me." "What do you mean?" The white-clothed woman frowned and had an ominous feeling in her heart. I reckon that the first district will soon turn into an Azura hell. The mysterious lady smiled. What? The white-clothed woman's eyes trembled. Qin Feiyang was also very surprised and said, You plan to kill everyone in the first region? Did I say that? But your suggestion is quite good. I will seriously consider it. The mysterious lady looked at him with a playful smile. You are simply a lunatic. Qin Feiyang was furious. This woman's plan was very clear. She would kill everyone in the first region and then the truth would be buried forever. I don't understand. Why do you want to do this? Just to frame Qin Feiyang? The white-clothed woman also looked at the mysterious lady with a shocked face. Although the first region's overall strength was weak, it had the most people. If they really killed everyone, blood would flow like rivers and corpses would be everywhere. Frame him? You think too highly of him. This is just a game. In a game, there will definitely be winners and losers. No matter if you lose or win, there will be sacrifices. The mysterious lady sneered and looked extremely indifferent. You have harmed countless lives. In your eyes, this is just a game. How can you be so vicious? Qin Feiyang was unable to restrain his anger and wanted to kill this woman immediately. This woman had gone mad and lost her humanity. Vicious? The mysterious lady smiled disapprovingly. Boom! All of a sudden, a terrifying pressure rushed out of her body and rushed toward Qin Feiyang and the white-clothed woman. This majesty had already exceeded the scope of the sacred aura. It was the aura of an emperor. Qin Feiyang and the woman in white were immediately imprisoned in the void. After I kill you, I'll kill everyone in the first and second zones. No one will know the truth. And Qin Feiyang is destined to be the scapegoat. He can't run away even if he wants to. The mysterious madam looked at the white-clothed woman and smiled. What? You still want to kill the people in the second area? Qin Feiyang was dumbfounded. The mysterious madam turned to look at him and smiled. If you kneel down and beg me, I can consider changing my mind. Don't even think about it. Qin Feiyang clenched his fists, his eyes cold and piercing. If he could really save the people in the two regions, he would be willing to kneel. However, he knew this woman too well. As long as she had made up her mind, she would never change her mind. If he really knelt down, not only would he not be of any help, he would also be severely humiliated. Then there's no other way. The mysterious madam shook her head in disappointment. She slowly raised her arm and battle chi surged from her fingertips, giving off a destructive aura. His target was the white-robed woman. How lively! But at this moment, a faint laugh came from afar. This voice, Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat. Two streams of flowing light pierced through the air like lightning. After their true appearance was revealed, one of them was Qin Feiyang's old acquaintance, Mu Qing. Next to Mu Qing there was an old woman in black. Her body was bent and she held a black walking stick. Her deep-set eyes were filled with wisps of eerie light. Why are you in such a sorry state every time I see you? Mu Qing looked at Qin Feiyang mockingly and said. Qin Feiyang said expressionlessly, Nothing good happens every time I see you. Don't be so cold. After all, we used to fight side by side. Moreover, my target this time is not you. As Mu Qing said, her eyes suddenly turned cold. She turned to look at the mysterious madam and said, It's time to settle the score with Sky Thunder City. The mysterious madam ignored him. Her eyes were firmly fixed on the old woman in black. The old woman in black was the same. Since she appeared, she had been sizing up the mysterious madam, as if she wanted to see through her. Who are you? The old woman in black was the first to break the silence and asked in a hoarse voice, If I remember correctly, you should be the previous housekeeper of the Mu family? The mysterious madam did not answer but asked instead, The previous housekeeper? Qin Feiyang was secretly shocked. That elder Shang who appeared back then was the current housekeeper of the Mu family. If he had the strength of an 8-star battle saint, then how strong was this previous housekeeper? The Mu family's foundation was really terrifying. He was puzzled again. With the Mu family's strength, it was easy to kill him. Why did they not do anything to him? Was it because of Lu Xingchen's instructions? If that was the case, then the relationship between Lu Xingchen and the Mu family was not ordinary. You even know my identity. It seems that you are very familiar with the Mu family. But why don't I remember that there is someone like you in the Forgotten Continent? The old woman in black was very surprised that the mysterious madam was able to see through her identity at a glance. But she was even more confused. On the Forgotten Continent, the Mu family was an unparalleled existence. As the previous housekeeper of the Mu family, she knew of anyone who had a bit of strength and status. But she had no impression of this woman in front of her. She was a stranger. Me? The mysterious madam faintly smiled and said, I am just a nameless nobody. I am not worthy of the Mu family's attention. A mighty battle saint is also a nobody. It seems that you won't be honest. I can only take you down and bring you back to the family for interrogation. After she finished speaking, the old woman in black's gaze was cold. She grabbed the black cane and forcefully stomped it in the air. Boom! A monstrous ferocious aura erupted from the black walking stick. It was as if a peerless beast was sealed inside the cane. As soon as the aura appeared, Qin Feiyong felt as if he had fallen into a bottomless abyss. Despair, panic, fear, and other negative emotions appeared uncontrollably like a tide and instantly drowned his entire body. At the same time, the mysterious madam also stared at the black cane, her pupils constricting. Swoosh! Suddenly, she turned around and used a mysterious footwork, quickly disappearing into the horizon. The old woman in black smiled contemptuously and said, Young master, should we chase? Mu Qing glanced at Qin Feiyong, pondered for a moment, and nodded, chase. The black-clothed old woman immediately waved her hand and brought Mu Qing along. Like a bolt of lightning, she tore through the sky. What's going on? Qin Feiyong was stunned. Why did they all leave? Mu family? The white-clothed woman looked at the backs of Mu Qing and Mu Qing. She also frowned and fell into deep thought. When the mysterious madam and Mu Qing disappeared from his sight, Qin Feiyong finally let out a sigh of relief. No matter what, he finally got rid of the mysterious madam. Then, he looked at the white-clothed woman and asked, Do you know the Mu family? Never heard of it. The white-clothed woman shook her head. Your sister doesn't know and you don't know either. Who exactly is the Mu family? Qin Feiyong was surprised. The Forgotten Continent is very big. It is said that apart from the first and second regions, there are 7 regions in the depths. The white-clothed woman said. So, there are 9 regions in the Forgotten Continent? Qin Feiyong said. Yes. But apart from these 9 regions, there is a 10th region, and this 10th region is called the Central Divine Kingdom. The Central Divine Kingdom's territory is very vast, bigger than the 9 regions combined. It is said that there are many strong people in the Divine Kingdom. Any one of them has the ability to overturn rivers and seas. I think the Mu family may be a member of the Central Divine Kingdom. The white-clothed woman guessed. Central Divine Kingdom, Qin Feiyong murmured. It seemed that the Forgotten Continent was much more complicated than he thought. Have you been to the Central Divine Kingdom? Qin Feiyong asked. No. The white-clothed woman shook her head, a trace of yearning in her eyes. No? Qin Feiyong was surprised and asked, Is there a pill tower in each of the 9 regions? Yes. The white-clothed woman nodded. Qin Feiyong asked again, Then where is the headquarters of your pill tower? Our branch's tower master has no right to ask about this, so I don't know. The headquarters may be in the 9th region, or it may be in the Central Divine Kingdom, the white-clothed woman said. Why do you look like you don't know much about the pill tower? Qin Feiyong frowned. The pill tower is very mysterious. Even us branch tower masters only know about the existence of the pill tower. Others, such as who is the head tower master, how long has the pill tower existed? We don't know anything. The white-clothed woman also looked confused, and it did not seem like she was pretending. Then how did you and your sister become the tower masters of the first and second regions? Qin Feiyong was suspicious. I became the tower master of the second region because I was appointed by the tower master of the third region. My sister was appointed by me. Our pill tower system is that each level is in charge of the next. For example, the tower master of the first region is the tower master of the second region, the tower master of the second region is the tower master of the third region, and so on. Similarly, if something happens, the branch tower masters can only report to the higher-ups. They can't overstep their authority. For example, I can only report to the Tower Master of the 3rd region. I can't directly go to the Tower Master of the 4th region, let alone the Head Tower Master. Of course, I can't directly contact the Head Tower Master either, the white-clothed woman said. After Qin Feiyong heard this, he could not help but frown slightly. The so-called system of the Pill Tower was very easy to understand. In fact, it was similar to the system of the Great Qin Empire. The counties were under the jurisdiction of the 9 regions, and the 9 regions were under the jurisdiction of the imperial capital. They could not overstep their authority. However, this system had advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage was that it was old-fashioned and cumbersome. Moreover, once something big happened in the various regions, the higher-ups would not be able to receive the news immediately. For example, this time the heavenly thunder flame had been snatched for a long time. The Pill Tower's Head Tower Master probably still did not know about it. The advantage was that the higher-ups did not have to be so busy. Think about it. If all the Tower Masters went to the Head Tower Master whenever something happened, wouldn't he be busy to death? On the contrary, because of the existence of this system, the branch Tower Masters of each region could share some of the work for the Head Tower Master. Therefore, no matter what, it was impossible to have the best of both worlds. Back then, after I became the Tower Master of the 2nd region, in order to take care of my sister, I let her be the Tower Master of the 1st region. After all, to be able to become the Tower Master of the Pill Tower, not only would her status be higher, but she would also be able to obtain a lot of cultivation resources. But I didn't expect that in the end, it would cause her death. Chapter 776. Qin Feiyong looked at her with a complicated expression and comforted her. The dead can't be brought back to life. Please restrain your grief. The woman in white looked at the sky and did not speak for a long time. Her eyes were filled with sorrow. Sigh. Finally, she let out a long sigh and turned to look at Qin Feiyong, asking, "Is there anything else you want to know?" "Yes. The Pill Pagoda holds an assessment every 5 years. Is it held at the same time for all the branch towers?" Qin Feiyong asked. "Yes." The woman in white nodded. "In that case, there are still many disciples in the Pill Pagoda?" Qin Feiyong looked at the Pill Pagoda that was located in the ruins and said, "That's right." The woman in white nodded again. Qin Feiyong pondered for a while and said, "There is one more question. Every time after sending away the disciples of the Pill Pagoda, Mu Chuyu would disappear and only appear during the next Pill Pagoda assessment. Where did she go during this period of time?" "Other than the Pill Pagoda assessment and training disciples, she was always with me," the woman in white said. "I see." Qin Feiyong nodded in realization and said, "One last question. What secret is hidden in the heavenly thunder flame?" Hearing this question, the woman in white's eyes suddenly burst with a strong cold light. She looked at Qin Feiyong with eyes as sharp as a blade. But in the end, the woman in white shook her head and said, "I don't know either." "You don't know?" Qin Feiyong was stunned. "I'm not lying to you. I only know that the Pagoda Master of the 3rd region told me and my sister that whether it is the heavenly thunder flame of the Sky Thunder City or the ice flame of the Ice City, they are very important. Even if we die, we have to protect them. Because once these alchemy fires are taken away, the world will be in chaos. As for why, he didn't tell us," the woman in white said. "What? The alchemy fire of the Ice City also hides some kind of secret like the heavenly thunder flame?" Qin Feiyong was surprised. What was going on? Who could explain it to him? The woman in white asked, "Any other questions?" Qin Feiyong was stunned. Why did he feel that there was something wrong with this woman's tone? Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying saintly aura emerged. Before Qin Feiyong could react, he was imprisoned in the void. "What do you mean?" Qin Feiyong's face darkened as he looked at the woman in white. "Although the people from the Min clan, Wang clan, and Li clan were not killed by you, it is an indisputable fact that you wanted to seize the heavenly lightning flame. You're half the reason why my sister died. Therefore you must die today." The woman in white spoke coldly, and a wisp of dense killing intent crept up in her eyes. Qin Feiyong's heart sank to the bottom at once. Why were the women of the Forgotten Continent so fickle? He fell out with her just like that. However, right now, he was at least a 6-star war ancestor. As for the white-robed woman, although she was a battle saint, she was still far inferior to Old Man Shang. Her aura might not be able to restrain him. However, just as Qin Feiyang was about to break the pressure and enter the castle, a cold shout rang out. Qin Feiyang was very familiar with this shout. It was the mysterious lady. Behind the woman in white, the mysterious lady who had escaped earlier appeared out of thin air once again. Moreover, he didn't say a word and directly killed the white-robed woman. Looking at the woman in white who was slowly falling down, Qin Feiyang was incomparably astonished. He then raised his head to look at the mysterious lady and frowned. "Aren't you being chased by the Mu clan? That old woman is indeed very strong, but if she wants to kill me, she's dreaming." The mysterious lady laughed disdainfully. "Can you tell me who exactly are you? And what kind of sacred being is the Mu clan?" Qin Feiyang asked. The mysterious lady wouldn't kill him. Otherwise, she would have already made her move the moment she appeared. "You don't have the right to know yet. Remember, your future path will be even more difficult." The mysterious lady laughed coldly. With a flash, she landed beside the white-robed woman's corpse, grabbed a few drops of blood, and rushed towards the pill tower. "What do you want to do now?" Qin Feiyang was shocked and hurriedly chased after her. The mysterious lady landed in front of the pill tower and dripped a drop of blood. When the tower door opened, she rushed in without looking back. Qin Feiyang also went straight in. Ah! As soon as he entered the pill tower, a series of screams came into his ears. Damn it! He was shocked and angry at the same time and ran upstairs. Soon, he saw corpses lying messily on the ground, and the smell of blood was pungent. The owners of these corpses were no more than 25 years old, and the youngest was only 14 or 15 years old. They were all disciples of the Pill Tower in the 2nd district, and they had just died. Obviously, they were killed by the mysterious lady. "How many more deaths do you want to commit?" Qin Feiyang roared and quickly rushed to the top floor of the Pill Tower. But when he came up, the mysterious lady was already holding a palm-sized flame in her hand. That flame was like bone fire, completely white and emitted a shocking chill. "This is the frost flame. Do you want it?" The mysterious lady looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile. Qin Feiyang looked at the frost flame and was not tempted at all. He said in a deep voice, "I only want to know now, are you really going to kill everyone in the 2nd and 1st districts?" The mysterious lady frowned and said, "I don't understand. They are just a bunch of ants. What's there to care about? In your eyes they are ants, but in my eyes they are all living creatures." Qin Feiyang roared. Although sometimes he would also kill, but to kill innocent people crazily, even if he had a heart of stone, he could not do it. The mysterious lady said with a smile, "Then kneel down and beg me. I'll kill you." Qin Feiyang was angry and pounced on the mysterious lady crazily. But the mysterious lady only waved her hand lightly and Qin Feiyang was sent flying. He hit the wall hard and spat out blood. "Boy, you are too kind. If this goes on, no matter how good your talent is, it will be difficult for you to achieve great things. I'll give you the Frost Flame and Sky Thunder Flame. Cherish them well. They will be of great use in the future." The mysterious lady waved her hand and the Sky Thunder Flame appeared. Following the 2 alchemy flames, it flew toward Qin Feiyang. At the same time, the mysterious lady also turned into a stream of light and flew out of the Pill Tower. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He quickly got up and grabbed the 2 alchemy flames. Enduring the pain, he chased after them. Whoosh! Mu Qing and the black-clothed old woman also turned back. Seeing the mysterious lady, the black-clothed old woman's eyes were cold. She said gloomily, "You really came back. It's a pity that you only came now. It's too late. I've already given the Sky Thunder Flame and the Frost Flame to Qin Feiyang. If you want them, go and find him." The mysterious lady smiled mockingly, then turned around and left without looking back. Mu Qing and the black-clothed old woman heard and looked at Qin Feiyang simultaneously. When they saw the Sky Thunder Flame and the Frost Flame in Qin Feiyang's hands, a trace of desire and greed immediately appeared in their eyes. Qin Feiyang, hand over the 2 alchemy flames. The black-clothed old woman shouted coldly. Her eyes were aggressive and she completely ignored the mysterious lady. "In your dreams." Qin Feiyang smiled coldly. In a flash, He went directly to the ancient castle. Damn it! The black-clothed old woman was furious. She turned to Mu Qing and bowed. Young master, I didn't do my job well. Please punish me. It's not your fault. I was too careless. We should kill the tower master first and take the frost flame. Then we can go after that woman. Mu Qing rubbed his aching head and said, ever since he met Qin Feiyang, nothing went his way. Could it be that this bastard was born with bad luck? Then what should we do now? The black-clothed old woman asked through telepathy. Mu Qing pondered for a while. Instead of answering, he asked, what do you think of that woman's strength? Very strong. If I didn't have this crutch, I'm afraid I wouldn't be her opponent. The black-clothed old woman's face was extremely solemn. Then have you ever thought about why such a powerful existence would lurk in the first district? Mu Qing asked. The black-clothed old woman thought for a while and said, in this situation, there's only one possibility. She's hiding from something. That's right. She might be hiding from her enemies. And last time in Sky Thunder City, when she heard that Elder Shang and I are from the Mu family, she immediately turned hostile. This means that she has a lot of hatred for our Mu family. Go back immediately. I want to know the details of all the enemies of our Mu family as soon as possible. Mu Qing said through telepathy. What about you, young master? The black-clothed old woman asked secretly. The Sky Thunder Flame and the Frost Flame have already fallen into Qin Feiyang's hands. We must not let him get the other kinds of elixir fire. So, I must go to the third district before him. Mu Qing said in a deep voice. The black-clothed old woman nodded, but then shook her head and said, I'm worried about you going alone. It's okay, I'll be careful. Now after you find out, immediately go to the White Tiger City in the third district to find me. Mu Qing secretly instructed. Okay. The black-clothed old woman pondered for a moment. Looking at Mu Qing's determined face, she finally nodded. Then, the two of them each opened a portal and walked in at the same time. At the same time, Great Qin Empire, Imperial Palace. In one of the big halls, the Pill Hall's hallmaster was pacing back and forth by himself. He seemed to be very anxious. Suddenly, two figures appeared. They were both middle-aged. One of them was wearing a set of golden armor. His eyes were sharp, his face was rough, and his body was emitting a terrifying aura. It was the commander of the invincible Black Army. The other one was wearing a purple armor. His body was thin and weak, but the aura that he emitted was even stronger than the commander of the invincible Black Army. Shockingly, a lifelike fire Qilin was engraved on his purple battle armor. That's right. He was the commander of the Kirin army. His position in the Imperial Palace was even higher than the commander of the invincible Black Army. Why are you looking for us in such a hurry? Did something big happen? As soon as the two commanders appeared, they looked at the Pill Hall Master suspiciously. Yes. The Pill Hall Master nodded and said in a deep voice, the elixir fire that Qin Feiyang took away from the Pill Hall had its blood contract erased not long ago. That's it? The two commanders frowned. Chapter 777. Looking at the two commanders' reaction, the Pill Hall Master frowned and said, do you think it's not important? Is it? The two commanders asked back. They couldn't figure out what was so important about it. Sigh. The Pill Hall Master sighed deeply. He looked at the two of them and asked, what's my cultivation? 9-star Battle Saint. The two of them answered without hesitation. Think about it. I'm a 9-star Battle Saint, but Qin Feiyang can erase the Dan Flame's blood contract. Doesn't this mean that there's a 9-star Battle Saint beside him now? Or the Battle Saint might even be stronger than a 9-star Battle Saint? The Pill Hall Master said in a deep voice. The two of them were stunned for a moment before they frowned. It seemed like it wasn't a small matter. Qin Feiyang's threat to the Great Qin Empire. I believe I don't need to tell you. If we don't get rid of him as soon as possible, when he grows stronger, the consequences will be. Speaking of which, the Pill Hall Master sighed deeply and didn't continue. His eyebrows were filled with worry. The two commanders looked at each other. They naturally knew what the Pill Hall Master wanted to say. With Qin Feiyang's hatred for the Emperor, he would come back sooner or later. This man was talented, calm, meticulous, and had extraordinary means. It was almost impossible to find any flaws. If that day really came, the consequences would be unimaginable. The commander of the invincible Black Army was silent for a moment. He looked at the commander of the Kirin army and asked, "Should we report this to the emperor? No matter what, they are father and son." Wait a moment. Before he could finish his sentence, the Pill Hall Master extended his hand and said, "Why?" The commander of the invincible Black Army looked at him confusedly. "Before reporting, we have to figure out who's helping Qin Feiyang," the Pill Hall Master said. The two commanders went silent again. Qin Feiyang definitely didn't have the ability to erase the blood contract himself. No matter how talented he was, it was impossible for him to become a 9-star battle saint in such a short time. There was only one possibility left. Someone else helped him. However, in the Great Qin Empire, 9-star battle saints and those above 9-star battle saints were all known to them. And these people were all generals under the emperor. For example, the martial arts hall master, law enforcement hall master, various martial marquis, various commanders, etc. No one would help Qin Feiyang because helping Qin Feiyang was equivalent to going against the imperial power. No matter how big the world was, it was the king's territory. On the shores of the earth, all are the king's subjects. Who in the Great Qin Empire would dare to go against the emperor? Therefore, the people from the imperial capital could be excluded. Apart from these people, who else would help Qin Feiyang? The commander of the Kirin army suddenly said, "Do you think it could be the Lu family? Lu clan?" Hearing those two words, the invincible Black Army's commander and the Pill Hall's hall master's eyes trembled. The old master of the Lu family is Qin Feiyang's grandfather. The strength of the Lu family is also extremely terrifying. Only they have the guts to help Qin Feiyang. The commander of the Kirin army said, "It can't be the Lu family." But at this moment, an old voice could be heard. Then, an old man appeared in the palace. He had white hair and a white beard. His white robe was also clean, emitting an otherworldly aura. "Greetings to the imperial tutor." The Pill Hall's hall master and the other two quickly bowed. "Yes." The imperial tutor nodded and said, "The lifeline of the Lu family is now in the hands of the emperor and me. They won't dare to act rashly." The commander of the Kirin army asked, "Then, according to the imperial tutor's opinion, where could Qin Feiyang be hiding?" The imperial tutor pondered for a while. His eyes flashed and he said, "I do have a thought. The Forgotten Land." "Why do you think so?" The three of them were surprised. They were also in awe of the Forgotten Land. Other than the Great Qin Empire and the Lu family, only the Forgotten Land has battle saints and existences beyond battle saints. The imperial tutor said. The three of them looked at each other and nodded involuntarily. "However, this is only my guess. I still need to verify it," the imperial tutor said thoughtfully. He then looked at the commander of the invincible Black Army and said, "Bring some people to the Forgotten Land immediately." "All right. I'll report to the emperor now." The commander of the invincible Black Army nodded and was about to leave. But at this moment, the imperial tutor said lightly, "There's no need to report to the emperor." The commander of the invincible Black Army was stunned. He turned around and looked at the imperial tutor suspiciously. The commander of the Kirin army and the Pill Hall master also looked at him confusedly. "I believe you guys can see that the emperor still has some feelings for Qin Feiyang. If the emperor knows about this, he might stop us," the imperial tutor said. "Although you're right, we can't hide it from the emperor. This is a crime of deceiving the emperor," the commander of the invincible Black Army said. "Although it's a crime of deceiving the emperor, we're doing it for his own good. We're helping him to get rid of the trouble and stabilize the Great Qin Empire. If the emperor really wants to pursue this matter in the future, I'll take responsibility," the imperial tutor said. "This?" The three of them looked at each other. The imperial tutor frowned and said coldly, "Don't be long-winded. Go." "Yes." The commander of the invincible Black Army bowed and replied. He then turned around and left. "Only we know about this. Don't tell anyone else." A cold light flashed in the imperial tutor's eyes. He said something to the Pill Hall master and the invincible Black Army before disappearing without a trace. After a while, the pill hall master frowned and said, "Deceiving the emperor and acting on his own. The imperial tutor is getting bolder and bolder. We can't help it. He's the emperor's teacher. Even the emperor has to respect him, let alone us." The commander of the Kirin army sighed. Forgotten continent. Ice City. The once bustling Ice City was now in ruins. The air was filled with a tragic aura and a pungent smell of blood. Near the Pill Pagoda, there was a speck of dust lying quietly in the ruins. That speck of dust was the ancient castle. Inside the ancient castle, Qin Feiyong sat cross-legged on the ground and closed his eyes to heal his wounds. The frost flame and lightning flame were floating in front of him. They were emitting two extreme temperatures. One was a high temperature that could burn his wounds. The other was a bone-piercing cold. About half an hour later, Qin Feiyong finally opened his eyes. His essence, qi, and spirit had recovered to their peak state. Lu Hong had been guarding Qin Feiyong the whole time. Seeing that Qin Feiyong opened his eyes, she asked with concern, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Qin Feiyong smiled. He raised his head and looked at the frost flame and lightning flame. His eyes were filled with suspicion. The nether demonic flame has already devoured the 3 Tier 5 pill fires and leveled up to Tier 6. But the strange thing is, it didn't take the initiative to devour the frost flame and lightning flame. Lu Hong said. "Really?" Qin Feiyong was surprised. He stood up and looked at the nether demonic flame floating above the Jiao Dragon cauldron. The nether demonic flame's aura was indeed stronger than before. Logically speaking, the heavenly thunder flame and the frost flame were now ownerless. And the nether demonic flame had also leveled up to Tier 6. It could completely devour these 2 pill fires. But why didn't it do so? Could it be that the heavenly thunder flame and the frost flame were not Tier 6 pill fires but Tier 7? Or even higher? Thinking of this, with an expectant mood he turned to face the heavenly thunder flame and the frost flame. He cut his finger and dripped his blood to bind them. Soon, the blood contract was completed. But the result disappointed him. These 2 pill fires were indeed only Tier 6. But why did the nether demonic flame not devour them? What secrets were hidden in this? Looking at Qin Feiyong, who was thinking hard and frowning, Lu Hong said with concern, "If you can't figure it out, don't think about it. Anyway, the truth will come out sooner or later." "That's true." Qin Feiyong nodded. Lu Hong asked, "Then where are you going next?" "To the 3rd area. The woman in white said that the pagoda lord of the 3rd area told her and her sister that they must protect these 2 pill fires. Then the pagoda lord of the 3rd area is most likely an insider." Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed. After he finished speaking, he left the castle and flew toward the 3rd area. As for the double-winged snow eagle, he was really not in the mood to look for it, nor did he want to look for it. Chirp. But after flying for about half a mile, a sharp chirp sounded behind him. Qin Feiyong paused in the void and turned his head to look. He saw a palm-sized snow eagle, breaking through the air like lightning. Who else could it be but the double-winged snow eagle? Flying in front of Qin Feiyong, the double-winged snow eagle said angrily, "Ungrateful bastard, where are you going? Why don't you wait for me?" "Ungrateful? When I was fighting with the city lord and the others, where were you? When I was imprisoned by the pressure of the mysterious lady and the pagoda lord, where were you? You say I'm ungrateful? How dare you?" The fury in Qin Feiyong's heart immediately surged up with whooshing sounds. At the critical moment he could not find a trace of it. But as soon as the matter was over, he jumped out. He had never seen such an unreliable guy. Faced with Qin Feiyong's scolding, the double-winged snow eagle laughed awkwardly. Qin Feiyong took a deep breath and said expressionlessly, "Tell me, where have you been fooling around these past few months?" "In the Ice City," the double-winged snow eagle said. Qin Feiyong paused for a moment, then his anger rose again. He roared, "Then why didn't you come out to help? You can handle it, can't you? Why do you need my help?" Later, the mysterious lady and the others appeared. Each of them was so powerful, how could I dare to come out? Fortunately, I escaped in time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see me now. The double-winged snow eagle laughed. "Cowardly as a mouse," Qin Feiyong despised. "I'm cowardly?" The double-winged snow eagle said angrily. "Let me tell you, After you hid in the castle, I went to follow the mysterious lady. Follow? Qin Feiyong paused and asked hurriedly. Did you find anything? Why should I tell you? The double-winged snow eagle tilted its head and put on a very cold look. Qin Feiyong's face darkened. He said helplessly, Okay, I apologize. Tell me. That's more like it. The double-winged snow eagle smiled proudly and said, I didn't find anything, but I saw with my own eyes that she slaughtered the Qing'an, Quicksand and Black Mountain tribes. Not a single person survived. What? She really did it? Qin Feiyong's face turned pale. Chapter 778. Also, she found out that I was following her, but she didn't attack me instead. Speaking of this, the two-winged snow eagle paused, its eyes full of confusion. Instead what? Qin Feiyong asked. The two-winged snow eagle's mind moved, and two streams of light flew out from its body and flew in front of Qin Feiyong. These were two jade slips, each the size of a palm, emitting a faint light. What are these? Qin Feiyong was suspicious. See for yourself. The two-winged snow eagle said, with a trace of excitement in its narrow eyes. Qin Feiyong sank his mind into the two jade slips, and was immediately stunned. These were actually two kinds of battle arts. And they were both perfect battle arts. One was called Mighty Eagle Body, which was a perfect killing battle art. The other was called Azure Dragon Illusion, which was a perfect auxiliary battle art. This, Qin Feiyong was stunned for a long time before he recovered, looked at the two-winged snow eagle and said, She didn't give this to you, did she? Yes, she gave it to me. And she didn't take the treasures and elixir fires of the three tribes, so I took them all, the two-winged snow eagle said. Qin Feiyong frowned. Back in White Fox City, this woman was definitely not pretending to want to kill him. But in the end, not only did she not kill him, but she also continued to give him battle arts? He really couldn't figure out what this woman wanted to do. Not only did I get two perfect battle arts, but I also got 3 kinds of 5th grade elixir fires and countless treasures. How is it? I'm very powerful, right? The two-winged snow eagle smiled proudly. Yes. Qin Feiyong gave a thumbs up and said, This mighty eagle body should be specially given to you. Take it and cultivate. As for the Azure Dragon illusion, leave it to the Black Dragon snake. Why? She gave it to me. The two-winged snow eagle suddenly became unhappy. It's for you, but you have a fighting soul, so you don't need this battle art. Also, the treasures of the 3 tribes, as well as the 3 types of pill flame, must all be given to Lu Hong. Qin Feiyong said. The double-winged snow eagle was enraged. Fuck. You're blatantly robbing me. I'm not convinced. Qin Feiyong teased. Then do you still want to open the door of potential? You. Looking at the smile on Qin Feiyong's face, the double-winged snow eagle lost its temper. It said helplessly, Fine, you bandit. I'll give it to you. That's more like it. Since you've already decided to follow us, you should share our blessings and hardships with us. Qin Feiyong chuckled and waved his hand, sending the double-winged snow eagle to the castle. Then he turned into a stream of light and continued to fly into the depths. About 2 hours later, a glacier entered his line of sight. The glacier rose and fell, towering and majestic, stretching for tens of thousands of miles. Countless ferocious beasts roamed the mountain stream. Their auras were all extremely powerful. Even at the edge of the area, Qin Feiyong could sense the aura of dozens of ferocious beasts, above the 5-star War Master level. One could imagine, in the depths of the glacier, how terrifying was the strength of the ferocious beasts. However, Qin Feiyong did not stop at all. He directly entered the glacier and disappeared into the horizon. 2 hours were very short for ordinary people, because sometimes cooking a meal would take an hour. But for the mysterious madam, she could do a lot of things in an hour. All the large and small tribes in the second area had been destroyed by her. At this moment, looking at the entire second area, there was not a single place that was intact. There were ruins everywhere and corpses were everywhere. This place had become an Azura hell. It was even worse than hell. Blood gathered into a river. The entire world was shrouded in a bloody mist. Such cruelty, such inhumanity, it was simply the right for everyone to kill. But she didn't stop. Open the door of potential and head to the first area. For the people of the second and first areas, This was a terrifying calamity. Before anyone could figure out what was going on, they had already lost their lives and didn't have the slightest ability to fight back. At the end of the first area, above the ice lake in the glacier forest, a group of uninvited guests also appeared. They were all wearing black armor, and their aura was like the ocean unfathomable. Especially the leader, who was wearing a golden armor, exuded an aura that shook the earth. That's right. This was the invincible Black Army from the capital. There were a total of 21 people, and they were all curiously looking at this world. One of them suddenly retracted his gaze and looked at the commander of the invincible Black Army. "Commander, have you been here before?" "No." The commander shook his head and said, "But this commander has heard of this place. This is a very magical and terrifying place. Remember to be careful in the future." "Understood." The 20 black-armored guards bowed and replied, "Let's go." Then, the commander of the invincible Black Army waved his hand and was ready to leave with this group of people. "Stop." But at this moment, a cold voice sounded, "Kacha! Dong!" Before the voice faded away, a huge snow python swept out from the ice lake below and suspended in the air, looking at this group of people. Such a strong aura. At the same time, the commander and his group of people looked at the snow python, and their pupils couldn't help but shrink. The snow python suddenly asked, "Are you from the Great Qin Empire?" This was a woman's voice. It was very clear and pleasant to the ears. "Yes." The commander of the invincible Black Army nodded and said, "May I ask who you are?" "Don't worry about who I am. Where did you come from? Go back to where you came from. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude," the snow python said. The commander immediately frowned. As the commander of the invincible Black Army, other than a few people who dared to speak to him in such a tone, even the marquises had to be polite when they saw him. Therefore, the snow python's attitude made him very unhappy. But he also knew that as a newcomer, he had to endure as much as he could. After all, he didn't know much about the Forgotten Continent. "Sir, I am the commander of the invincible Black Army of the Great Qin Empire. This time, I came to the Forgotten Land under the orders of the Emperor. Please make an exception." He cupped his hands and said in a friendly manner, "The commander of the invincible Black Army." Hearing this, the snow python's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. After pondering for a moment, she nodded and said, "Okay, but I will only give you half a month. After half a month, if I don't see you come back, I will personally come and find you. At that time, you will have to bear the consequences." After she finished speaking, a terrifying pressure suddenly rushed out of her body. Under this pressure, even the commander of the invincible Black Army couldn't help but feel frightened, let alone the 20 black-armored guards behind him. Their eyes were filled with shock, and their bodies and hearts trembled. However, the pressure came and went quickly. Dong! In the next moment, the snow python entered the ice lake and disappeared from everyone's sight. What is this forgotten land? Why did we encounter such a powerful existence as soon as we appeared? The 20 black-armored guards looked at the ice lake in surprise, and cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. The commander said in a deep voice, "That's why I asked you to be careful. Let's go, we only have half a month. We have to speed up." Whoosh! The group of people turned into streaks of light and rushed out of the glacier forest like lightning. "Commander, look, there is a tribe in front of us." One of the black-armored guards pointed in front of them. The tribe he was pointing at was the Lu tribe, which was located at the edge of the glacier forest. The commander of the invincible Black Army glanced at the Lu tribe and said, "Let's go and ask them." In less than a few breaths, a group of people descended on the sky above the Lu tribe, and they didn't hide their aura at all. "Who is it?" The people of the Lu tribe also walked out of their houses and looked at the invincible Black Army with vigilance. One of the black-armored guards waved his hand, and a white figure appeared in the air. It was Qin Feiyang. The black-armored guard looked at the people of the Lu tribe and asked, "Have you seen this person before? Isn't he Qin Feiyang?" "That damn bastard, why are you looking for him?" The people of the Lu tribe saw Qin Feiyang's shadow, and their killing intent soared. "You found him just like that?" The commander of the invincible Black Army was stunned. "Wasn't it too easy?" Cough. He clenched his fist and coughed, then asked, "Are you sure you didn't recognize the wrong person?" "Of course. Because we have a blood feud with him. A few years ago, he and his companions killed all the battle kings of the Lu tribe. So, even if he turns into ashes, we can still recognize him." The group of people roared with grief and indignation. A few years ago, the commander of the invincible Black Army was stunned. Even if Qin Feiyong came to the Forgotten Land, it hadn't been that long. How could they say that it was a few years ago? To be honest, we were ordered to hunt down Qin Feiyong. So, I hope that you can cooperate with me and tell me everything about him. At that time, I will definitely avenge your dead clansmen. The commander of the invincible Black Army said. Okay. That bastard should have died long ago. We will tell you everything that happened that year. That year, not only did he commit crimes in this area, but he also went to White Fox City and Sky Thunder City to commit crimes. The clansmen of the Lu tribe all started to talk at once. Whatever they knew, whatever they had heard, they told him in full detail. After hearing everything, the Grand Commander furrowed his brows. He didn't expect that Qin Feiyong had come to the Forgotten Land a few years ago. How did he come here? Suddenly, a cold light flashed in his eyes. It must be the teleportation altar of the spiritual state. He dared to let Qin Feiyong enter the Forgotten Land without permission. The spiritual state mansion master was really bold. He looked at the people of the Lu tribe and said, "Can you give me the coordinates of Sky Thunder City? A few days ago, we heard rumors that Sky Thunder City had been destroyed, and Qin Feiyong seemed to be one of the culprits. But we don't know the coordinates of Sky Thunder City. You can go to White Fox City and ask around. The people there should know." The people of the Lu tribe also gave the coordinates of White Fox City to the commander of the invincible Black Army. Thank you. Chapter 779. White Fox City. When the commander of the invincible Black Army and the others arrived above the city, they were all stunned. How could there be a city here? Below there was a barren, fragmented ruin. There were corpses and severed limbs everywhere in the wasteland. Blood dyed the soil red. The pungent smell of blood filled the air. It was nauseating. How could this be? The group of people's eyes were filled with shock. One should know. As a member of the invincible Black Army, everyone's hands were stained with blood. But at this moment, looking at the scene below, they could not help but shudder. It was too cruel. Who was this crazy person? Suddenly, a guard in black armor seemed to have discovered something. He pointed to the left and shouted, "There's someone there." Swoosh! The group of people looked over and saw a white-clothed woman in the sky above the wasteland. The white-clothed woman stood in the air. Her long hair and dress fluttered in the wind. There was no aura around her. She seemed to have merged with the air. If they did not see her with their own eyes, they would not have noticed her. Moreover, looking at the woman, the commander of the invincible Black Army felt a sense of crisis. "Who are you?" the white-clothed woman asked. She looked at the invincible Black Army with curiosity. "Who are you?" the commander of the invincible Black Army asked. The white-clothed woman frowned and said unhappily, "I'm the one asking you now. I don't want to ask you again. You're courting death." Seeing the woman's arrogant attitude, a guard in black armor behind the commander of the invincible Black Army was furious. His eyes flashed with a terrifying cold light. "You're the one courting death." The woman in white suddenly looked at the guard, but he didn't move at all, nor did he show any signs. "Ah!" Accompanied by a scream, the guard in black armor exploded and died on the spot. "What? This means..." Seeing this, the rest of the black-armored guards were dumbfounded. "No matter who you are, you must die today." The white-clothed woman did not say anything else. She raised her arm and pointed her finger in the air. Boom! A monstrous power gushed out like a raging wave of a vast ocean. It blotted out the sky and covered the earth as it rushed toward the invincible Black Army. "This is..." The commander of the invincible Black Army was startled. Suddenly, his pupils contracted as he shouted, "This is the Emperor's aura. Retreat!" Emperor's might. The expressions of the group of black-armored guards behind him changed abruptly, and they hurriedly turned and fled. Who would have thought that this woman was actually a battle emperor? As for that person, she was none other than the mysterious madam. White Fox City was naturally destroyed by her. As the mysterious lady looked at the fleeing invincible black army, a mocking look appeared in her eyes. The strength of this group of people was terrifying. But in her eyes, he was no better than an ant. She waved her hand, and the surging emperor's might instantly turned into 20 streaks of emperor's might that shot towards the Grand Commander and the others. Ah! Those black armored guards died one after another, unable to retaliate at all. Their blood splattered across the sky. In the blink of an eye, there were only 11 people left, including the Grand Commander. Your Excellency, we are the invincible Black Army of the Great Qin Empire. Please show mercy. The commander of the invincible Black Army hastily shouted. He cursed his bad luck in his heart. They had only been in the Forgotten Land for a short period of time, and they had already encountered 2 terrifying experts. What kind of place was this? If this continued, not to mention chasing after Qin Feiyang, they would probably be completely annihilated before they could even find a trace of Qin Feiyang. The Great Qin Empire? At the same time, the mysterious madam was stunned when she heard the Grand Commander's shout. In the next moment, the Emperor's throne that was charging towards the Grand Commander, and the others disappeared into thin air. The Grand Commander and the others heaved a sigh of relief. The mysterious madam looked at the Grand Commander and asked, "Are you here to find Qin Feiyang?" The Grand Commander was wiping the cold sweat on his forehead when he heard the question. He looked at the mysterious madam and asked in surprise, "Your Excellency, you also know Qin Feiyang?" "Of course I know him." The mysterious madam smiled and said, "This kid almost died in my hands several times." The Grand Commander's eyes flickered slightly when he heard this. He asked cautiously, "So, you also have a grudge against Qin Feiyang?" "Sort of." The mysterious madam nodded. Hearing this, the Grand Commander's heart finally relaxed. "To tell you the truth, I came to the Forgotten Land to hunt down Qin Feiyang." He cupped his hands and said. The mysterious madam was stunned and asked in confusion, "Why do you want to hunt him down?" The Grand Commander said, "This is an order from above. It's not convenient for me to reveal it. Since it's not convenient, I won't force you. But there's one question you must answer. What's Qin Feiyang's status in the Great Qin Empire?" The mysterious madam said. The Grand Commander was in a difficult position. "If you don't tell me, you'll all die." The mysterious madam chuckled. Although her tone was calm, there was a terrifying murderous intent. The Grand Commander frowned and sighed. "All right, I'll tell you. Qin Feiyang is the son of the Emperor of the Great Qin Empire, but due to some special reasons, he has been stripped of his position as prince." "What?" "He's the son of the Emperor." The mysterious madam was shocked. She had thought that Qin Feiyang's identity in the Great Qin Empire was definitely not simple, but she didn't expect his background to be so great. But soon after, the corner of her mouth lifted slightly as she mocked, "That Emperor of your Great Qin Empire is really an old fool." The Grand Commander's gaze darkened as he said, "Sir, please pay attention to your words. What I said is the truth. Qin Feiyang is so young, yet he has already stepped into the 6-star War Master. He can be said to be an unparalleled genius. The most important thing is that he has a tenacious personality and never gives up easily. As long as he is nurtured a little, he will definitely become a great talent in the future. But your emperor crippled him and even sent you guys to chase after him. To be honest, saying that he's old and confused is already praising him." The mysterious madam sneered. The Grand Commander's face was as gloomy as water. Just what kind of background did this person have to actually dare to evaluate His Majesty like that? Suddenly, he realized a very serious problem and asked in surprise, "What did you just say? Qin Feiyang has already stepped into the 6-star War Master?" "That's right." The mysterious madam nodded. "That's impossible. The last time he escaped from the imperial capital, he had just broken through to the 4-star War Master. It's only been a few months, and he actually broke through 2 small realms in a row. Even if he opened the gate of potential, it's impossible for him to be so fast." The Grand Commander's face was filled with disbelief. The remaining 10 black armored guards also had looks of disbelief on their faces. "What did you say? He opened the gate of potential?" The mysterious madam was also surprised. "Yes. He once said that he had already opened the 5th level of the Gate of Potential. The Grand Commander said. The 5th level. The mysterious madam was also shocked. But then a smile crawled onto her face as she muttered, "Little bastard, you really hit it well." The Grand Commander suddenly said, "Sir, since you have enmity with Qin Feiyang, why don't we join hands to deal with him?" Join hands? The mysterious madam laughed and shook her head. "If I wanted to kill Qin Feiyang, he would have died long ago. Why would I need to join hands with you?" After pausing for a moment, she continued, "Moreover, you are a 9-star war saint after all. To deal with a mere 6-star war master, you actually need to find someone to join hands with. Don't you think that you are ridiculous?" Hearing these words that were filled with ridicule, the Grand Commander lowered his head in embarrassment. That's right. No matter how monstrous Qin Feiyang was, he was only a 6-star war master right now. What was he afraid of? However, the mysterious madam's attitude made him very puzzled. What was she thinking? Since they had enmity, why didn't they kill him and let Qin Feiyang continue to grow? He pondered for a moment and asked, "Then you won't stop us from killing Qin Feiyang, right?" "Why should I stop you?" The mysterious madam shook her head and smiled. "Not only will I not stop you, I will also tell you his current whereabouts." Really? The Grand Commander was overjoyed. He should be on his way to the 3rd area right now. "I will give you a coordinate. When you get there, fly straight into the depths. I believe that it won't be long before you can catch up to him." The mysterious madam smiled. The coordinates given to the Grand Commander were the coordinates of the Ice City. "Thank you." The Grand Commander cupped his hands and thanked her. Then, he opened a teleportation gate and quickly left with the 10 guards. The son of the great Qin Empire's emperor. No wonder that Snow Python allowed him to freely enter and leave the Forgotten Continent. Mu family, Qin family. It's getting more and more interesting, the mysterious madam muttered to herself. Finally, she pursed her lips and disappeared without a trace. Let's talk about Qin Feiyang. After entering the glacier, he kept encountering fierce beasts blocking his way. Moreover, these fierce beasts all had the strength of a 5-star war master at the very least. It could be said that they were extremely annoying. In the end, he took out the Heavenly Thunder Sword. The Heavenly Thunder Sword was a sacred artifact. Even though it had not awakened, the sacred might it emitted was enough to make the fierce beasts below the War Saint panic. Even the War Saint level fierce beasts did not dare to act rashly. So, along the way there was no danger. In the evening, Qin Feiyang landed on the peak of an ice mountain and looked ahead. In front of him, it was a lush snow forest that covered an area of several miles. Ancient trees were uprooted and towered into the sky, looking incomparably strong. At the top of the tree there was a thick layer of snow accumulated. At first glance it looked like a huge snow-white umbrella standing in the snow. And in the forest, he could faintly sense an extremely terrifying aura. But more importantly, in this huge forest he only sensed this aura. This meant that, in the forest, there was only one fierce beast. But this fierce beast was the emperor of this area. The other fierce beasts did not dare to set foot in this place. And Qin Feiyang stopped to think, should he take a detour? Because without any suspense, the fierce beast lurking in the forest was definitely a War Saint level existence. Although he had the Heavenly Thunder Sword in his hand, he could not awaken it. If an accident happened, wasting time was a small matter. If his life was endangered, it would be too late to regret it. Very soon, he made a decision. In order to avoid some unnecessary trouble, it was better to take a detour. Whoosh! He once again soared into the sky and flew towards the right side of the forest. Chapter 780. There was a medicinal fragrance. It was very faint, but it did exist. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and scanned the forest, his eyes flickering. Although there was a medicinal fragrance, he didn't know what kind of medicinal herb it was. If it was just a very ordinary medicinal herb, then it wouldn't be worth the risk. After pondering for a moment, Qin Feiyang held the mentality of killing 1,000 by mistake and not letting one go. He still planned to go down and take a look. Whiz! After entering the forest, he put away the Heavenly Thunder Sword, smelled the medicinal fragrance, and carefully walked deeper into the forest. Because the holy might would alarm the beast emperor lurking in the forest. Inside the forest it was too quiet. Coupled with the fact that it was evening, it was dark everywhere. It made one's hair stand on end. About 100 breaths passed. He seemed to have discovered something and hid behind a big tree. He stuck his head out and looked ahead. His pupils immediately shrank. Although the forest was dark with Qin Feiyang's current cultivation, the night could not block his line of sight. A few hundred meters in front of him, there was a huge monster lying on the ground. It was a fierce crocodile. Its body was dozens of meters long, and it was ferocious. It lay motionless in the snow, its eyes tightly closed, as if it was sleeping. But unlike other fierce crocodiles, this fierce crocodile's scales were like ice. If he didn't hear its heartbeat and breathing, Qin Feiyang would have thought that it was just an ice sculpture. But that wasn't the case. According to Qin Feiyang's knowledge, this fierce crocodile was called the frost crocodile, and was also a species from 10,000 years ago. There were records in the ancient books. The frost crocodile was cruel and bloodthirsty. Its hard body was comparable to divine iron, and it was difficult for ordinary sharp weapons to break through its defense. Moreover, it also had a mouthful of terrifying fangs. Even the fierce beasts of the same realm as it were unable to block its bite. And the aura that Qin Feiyang sensed came from this fierce crocodile. Qin Feiyang didn't dare to step forward, because the aura emitted by this frost crocodile far surpassed that of the 9-star war sect. He held his breath and scanned the snow in front of the frost crocodile. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's gaze locked onto the snow in front of the frost crocodile's head. His face also revealed a trace of ecstasy. On the snowy ground, there was a small tree about half a meter tall. Little Uncle's tree trunk and leaves were all snow-white, blending in with the snow. If one didn't look carefully, it would be hard to notice. Between the branches, there were 3 fruits hanging from them. These 3 fruits were only the size of an egg, and they seemed to be condensed from ice. They were crystalline, translucent, and emitted strands of faintly discernible rays of light. And the medicinal fragrance that Qin Feiyang smelled came from those 3 fruits. But that was not the point. The important thing was that Qin Feiyang had captured a tiger-shaped spirit tattoo on the small tree's trunk. In other words, this little tree was 10,000 years old. A moment later, Qin Feiyang glanced at the frost crocodile and entered the ancient castle with a flash. He looked at the 2-winged snow eagle that had nothing to do and said, "I found a treasure. Help me snatch it." The dual-winged snow eagle did not dare to cultivate, because it was already able to break through to the Battle Saint realm. If it cultivated and accidentally stepped into the Battle Saint realm, it would have to wait until it became a 9-star Battle Saint to unlock the door of potential. By then, the time needed would undoubtedly be longer. What treasure? But before the dual-winged snow eagle could speak, Wolf King and Fatso were the first to open their eyes and stare at Qin Feiyang excitedly. What kind of people are these? Once they hear that there is a treasure, it's as if they are injected with chicken blood. The dual-winged snow eagle looked at the man and wolf in disdain, then looked at Qin Feiyang and chuckled. What treasure? When it spoke, its eyes were shining, and it was only a step away from drooling. After being looked down upon, Wolf King and Fatso wanted to flip out, but when they saw the dual-winged snow eagle's eyes, they were stunned. Aren't we the same? How dare we talk about others? Qin Feiyang glanced at them and said with a smile, "Mystic ice fruit." Mystic ice fruit? Fatso was slightly stunned and immediately lost interest. What is a mystic ice fruit? Wolf King and the dual-winged snow eagle looked at the two of them in confusion. Mystic ice fruit is an ingredient for refining potential pills and small creation pills, but it is not very precious. Fat Lord still has dozens of them in his Qiankuan bag. Fatso waved his hand and said, "I see." Hearing Fatso's words, Wolf King and the other 2 beasts also lost interest. Qin Feiyang glanced at them and said helplessly, "Can you let me finish?" "Go ahead." Fatso and Wolf King looked at him listlessly. If it was just an ordinary mystic ice fruit, of course I would not be so excited. But now, the mystic ice fruit outside is 10,000 years old. Qin Feiyang said. What? Hearing this, the man and the 2 beasts' eyes suddenly shone. If it was a 10,000-year-old mystic ice fruit, it would naturally be a different story. Let's go out and snatch it." Wolf King stood up and urged, his fighting spirit high. The small creation pill required the same medicinal ingredients as the potential pill. As for the potential pill, there were a total of 33 medicinal ingredients. But now, they had only found snow crystals and blood ginseng that were 10,000 years old. They were still lacking a lot. So, once they found it, they had to get it. Why didn't I see you so active before? Looking at the impatient Wolf King, Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes, and then said, I and the dual-winged snow eagle will go out and take a look first. If it really doesn't work out, I'll let you guys go out and help. Next, he looked at the dual-winged snow eagle and said, beside the mystic ice fruit, there is a war saint level frost crocodile. The dual-winged snow eagle nodded and instantly restrained his aura to the limit. Shua. Then, Qin Feiyong brought the dual-winged snow eagle and appeared behind the big tree once again. The dual-winged snow eagle had transformed. At this moment it was only the size of a palm. Lying on Qin Feiyong's shoulder, it stuck its head out to look at the small tree. When it saw the tiger-shaped spirit grain, its eyes immediately lit up. Are you confident? Qin Feiyong asked via sound transmission. The dual-winged snow eagle turned its gaze, sized up the frost crocodile for a while, and secretly said, you have a sacred artifact, so it's not difficult to deal with it. But the problem is, once we fight, it's very likely that the mystic ice fruit will be destroyed, so we have to think of a way to lure it away. Qin Feiyong nodded and sent a sound transmission. Then you go and lure it. Why don't you go? The dual-winged snow eagle was startled, and immediately said angrily, if I had your speed, would I need to beg you? Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes at it. No, although this emperor is fast, it is still a war saint. Competing with it in speed is purely courting death. The dual-winged snow eagle shook its head. You don't even dare to go. Do you still have any prospects? Qin Feiyong stared at it angrily. However, the dual-winged snow eagle looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water, and said indifferently, don't try to provoke this emperor, it's useless, this emperor won't fall for your tricks. Qin Feiyong's face darkened. This bastard, there was no time for him to be reliable. Suddenly, the dual-winged snow eagle's eyes lit up, and it secretly said, this emperor has thought of a good idea. What idea? Qin Feiyong asked. Can't you hide in the castle? Now run over there. Don't be afraid of it. Grab the mystic ice fruit and enter the castle. At that time, even if it wakes up, it can only watch you. How is it? This method is awesome. The dual-winged snow eagle chuckled. A row of black lines appeared on Qin Feiyong's forehead. He really wanted to strangle this bastard to death. If this method was feasible, he would have acted long ago. Why would he need to talk nonsense with the dual-winged snow eagle? The reason why it was not feasible was because the small tree was right in front of the ice crocodile's mouth, almost touching its bloody mouth. With such a short distance, as long as the ice crocodile opened its mouth, it would be able to swallow him alive. Not to mention, the berserk beast's sense of smell was usually very sensitive, and the ice crocodile was still a battle saint. Even if it restrained its aura to the extreme, as long as it approached, it would immediately sense it. If he really listened to the dual-winged snow eagle's rotten idea, it was guaranteed that he would not be able to return. Suddenly, he rolled his eyes and smiled. I also thought of a good idea. What? The dual-winged snow eagle looked at him expectantly. A smirk flashed across Qin Feiyong's eyes. He grabbed the dual-winged snow eagle and directly threw it out. The dual-winged snow eagle was still in a daze. When it regained its senses, it was already only a dozen meters away from the ice crocodile. You bastard! Immediately, it was furious and secretly roared at Qin Feiyong. Then it turned around and wanted to escape, afraid that it would wake up the ice crocodile. Humph, if you dare to run away, you will never be able to open the gate of potential. Qin Feiyong secretly snorted. The dual-winged snow eagle's body stiffened. It turned its head and gritted its teeth as it stared at Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong didn't care about the look in its eyes at all. He sent a voice transmission and urged, go quickly before it wakes up. Bastard, you win. The dual-winged snow eagle with a stomach full of grievances looked back at the ice crocodile. It suddenly gritted its teeth and rushed towards the small tree. However, when it landed in front of the small tree, the ice crocodile still showed no signs of waking up. What's the situation? The dual-winged snow eagle was a little stunned. Seeing this, Qin Feiyong urged, Don't dawdle, hurry up. What the hell are you urging? The dual-winged snow eagle cursed secretly without turning its head. It stretched out its wings and waved them in front of the ice crocodile's closed eyes. But there were still no signs of waking up. It still won't wake up? The dual-winged snow eagle was surprised, and then laughed. This guy must be having an erotic dream. Finished. It turned around and stretched out its claws, grabbing the small tree's trunk and preparing to uproot it. Shwa! But at this moment, the ice crocodile's tightly shut eyes behind him suddenly opened. Qin Feiyong had been paying attention to the ice crocodile's situation. Seeing it open its eyes, his heart immediately turned cold. It was a pair of scarlet eyes, filled with bloodthirst and cruelty. He hurriedly looked at the dual-winged snow eagle and roared, "It's staring at you, quick!" What? The dual-winged snow eagle's body trembled as it slowly turned its head. When it met the ice crocodile's scarlet eyes, its soul almost flew out of its body. Who? Suddenly, the ice crocodile's bloody mouth moved, spewing out a pungent smell of blood. The dual-winged snow eagle quivered and hurriedly waved its wings, saying, "Don't be rash, I'm just passing by. You don't have to do anything, I'll scram immediately." Finished. It turned around like lightning, stretched out its claws, grabbed the small tree, and pulled with all its might. Crack! The ice on the ground shattered, snow flew everywhere, and the small tree was immediately uprooted. Then, as if its butt was on fire, it rushed towards Qin Feiyong without looking back. Roar! Chapter 781. Qin Feiyong was dumbfounded. It was swallowed alive just like that? Following that, he could not help but feel chills all over his body. It was obvious that the frost crocodile had already sensed the approach of the double-winged snow eagle. The reason why it had been holding back was to numb the double-winged snow eagle. These fierce beasts were really each more sinister than the other. Clang! In the blink of an eye, when he came back to his senses, Qin Feiyong decisively took out the Sky Thunder sword. Although the double-winged snow eagle was somewhat unreliable, it was after all his companion now. His companion was in trouble. No matter how dangerous it was, he would not back down. Die! He roared and jumped out from behind the big tree. He grabbed the Sky Thunder sword and slashed it fiercely. The sword aura was like a rainbow cutting through the sky. For a moment the ground trembled and snow flew everywhere. Those thick and strong ancient trees were like withered trees that could not withstand a single blow. They were instantly crushed into pieces by the sword aura. Qin Feiyong had not appeared and his aura had been restrained to the extreme. The frost crocodile had not discovered him. Therefore, faced with this sudden attack, the frost crocodile was somewhat caught off guard. Coupled with the speed of the sword aura, it was as fast as lightning. Before the frost crocodile could react, the sword aura slashed its wide mouth. Poof! Immediately, a stream of hot blood gushed out like a fountain and sprayed dozens of feet away. The frost crocodile's bloody mouth was actually split into two by the sword aura. If Qin Feiyong was a little closer, he could split its entire head. Roar! The intense pain made the frost crocodile roar again and again. Its huge body rolled in the snow. The earth shook and the ice shattered. A large area of the surrounding ancient trees was crushed. The rumbling was deafening. Whoosh! Suddenly, a white stream of light rushed out from the frost crocodile's wide mouth. It was the double-winged snow eagle. Qin Feiyong said in surprise, "Aya, you weren't swallowed alive? Don't gloat over there." The two-winged snow eagle glared at it fiercely. It flapped its wings and floated above the frost crocodile. Previously it was almost swallowed alive. Luckily, Qin Feiyong split open the frost crocodile's mouth at the crucial moment, giving it a chance to escape. But even so, it was still very unhappy with Qin Feiyong. Because, if Qin Feiyong hadn't thrown it over when it wasn't paying attention, it wouldn't have fallen into such a crisis. "Bastard, I'll settle this with you in the future," it muttered under its breath and said angrily to Qin Feiyong, "What are you waiting for? Kill it." "Do I need you to tell me that?" Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes and looked at the frost crocodile that was still rolling on the ground. Clang! He suddenly raised the heavenly thunder sword, and his saint might surged. With a wave of his hand a dazzling sword chi whizzed out. Its terrifying sharpness tore apart the glacier. But at this moment, the frost crocodile suddenly turned into the size of a palm and flew away like lightning. Beasts that had cultivated to the battle saint level no longer needed the transformation pill to change their size at will. Boom! The sword chi slashed towards the ground. Accompanied by a loud sound, a few miles of land was instantly razed to the ground. But the frost crocodile ran away. Want to run? Lend me the heavenly thunder sword. Looking at the escaping frost crocodile, the two-winged snow eagle was filled with rage. It stretched out its claws and snatched the heavenly thunder sword from Qin Feiyang's hands. It then activated its battle soul and chased after the frost crocodile. Don't chase! Qin Feiyang quickly shouted. One must know. They hadn't even reached the central area of the glacier, and they had already encountered a battle saint level frost crocodile. There must be beasts stronger than the frost crocodile in the deeper area. And once those beasts sensed the battle here and came to join in the fun, they could only run for their lives. However, the angry two-winged snow eagle didn't listen at all and chased to the end. Impulsiveness is the devil. Qin Feiyang sighed helplessly and could only use phantom steps to catch up. But, whether it was the frost crocodile or the two-winged snow eagle, their speed far exceeded his. Very soon, he lost track of it. He stood on top of an ice peak and scanned the area in front of him. His brows were tightly knitted together. Forget it. I'll just wait here for it. After pondering for a moment, he simply entered the forest below to see if he could find any other medicinal herbs. Not long after, a hint of bewilderment crept into his eyes as he actually smelled another medicinal fragrance. He followed the medicinal fragrance and searched. Not long after, he walked out of the forest and an ice lake entered his sight. The ice lake wasn't big, only a few 100 feet wide. On the surface of the lake there was a thick layer of ice. And in the middle of the ice lake, there was a blooming flower. It was the size of a baby's palm and had a total of 3 petals. Its entire body seemed to be carved from crystal, emitting a hazy radiance. And on the petals, there was a tiger-shaped spirit pattern. It's actually an ice crystal flower. And it's 10,000 years old. Qin Feiyang was overjoyed. The ice crystal flower was also one of the medicinal herbs used to refine the small creation pill. However, he didn't rush up immediately because such a rare treasure was basically guarded by powerful beasts. Of course there were exceptions, but such exceptions were too rare. Qin Feiyang scanned the lake surface and didn't find any traces of beasts. After pondering for a while, he turned and walked into the forest. Not long after, he walked out with a stone the size of a dustpan. Next, he lifted the stone and threw it into the ice lake. Crack! Splash! The stone hit not far away from the ice crystal flower. The ice layer on the lake surface instantly cracked, splashing up waves of several meters high. Whoosh! Following closely, a white stream of light swept out from the waves. It was a snake. It was more than 10 meters long and its entire body was like jade. White jade demonic snake. Qin Feiyang's eyes widened. He wasn't unfamiliar with this thing at all. He clearly remembered that back then, in the valley where Mu Tianyang was buried, he almost lost his life under the venomous fangs of the white jade demonic snake. The most important thing was that the white jade demonic snake was a social creature. As long as one appeared, there would definitely be a large group of them under the ice lake. However, the strength of this white jade demonic snake wasn't very strong. It was about a 1-star battle ancestor. At the same time, when the white jade demonic snake appeared, it also discovered Qin Feiyang who was standing by the lake. The snake flicked its tongue, and its long and narrow eyes revealed traces of cold light. It was obviously threatening Qin Feiyang not to approach. Tisk, I'm not afraid of you. Qin Feiyang smiled disdainfully, turned into a stream of light, and rushed toward the ice crystal flower. Hiss! The white jade demonic snake immediately let out an ear-piercing scream. Crack! Whoosh! The ice layer on the entire ice lake was constantly cracking. One by one the white jade demonic snakes rushed out like lightning, pouncing towards Qin Feiyang like a huge wave. Qin Feiyang hurriedly swept his gaze across. The strongest of these white jade demonic snakes was only a 5-star battle ancestor, so they couldn't threaten him at all. Boom! He released his aura. Before those white jade demonic snakes could even get close, they were all sent flying, and a large number of them were killed or injured. Blood poured down like a waterfall. In the blink of an eye, the originally clear and bright ice lake was dyed blood red. Soon, Qin Feiyong rushed to the front of the ice crystal flower, his eyes shining brightly. But just as he was about to reach out to grab it, an unprecedented sense of danger suddenly surged into his heart. Shua! He decisively retreated. At the same time, just as he was retreating, a ray of light shot out from the stamen of the ice crystal flower. At first glance, it was like an earthworm harmless to humans and animals, but it was the opposite. Not only did it erupt with a terrifying aura, its speed was even faster than Qin Feiyong's by a large margin. The danger that Qin Feiyong felt came from it, because it was also a white jade demonic snake. And such a small white jade demonic snake had obviously undergone transformation. Fierce beasts that could transform were all existences of the War Saint level. So, facing the Snake Emperor of the War Saint level with Qin Feiyong's current strength, he had no chance of winning. He had never thought that there would be such a terrifying existence hiding in the stamen. The Serpent Emperor's aura was overbearing. Like a graceful swan, he closed in on Qin Feiyong with lightning speed. Its eyes, which were as big as a grain of rice, were suffused with a gloomy light. Qin Feiyong's mind trembled, and he entered the castle without hesitation. The Snake Emperor was stunned as he scanned the air in bewilderment. But in the next moment, Qin Feiyong appeared below the Snake Emperor out of thin air. Because once Qin Feiyong himself entered the ancient castle would be exposed. And the castle that was exposed would automatically sink, and at that time it would definitely sink into the ice lake. Who knew how many white jade demonic snakes there were in the ice lake? Once trapped, it was equivalent to falling into a devil's den. And there was no way to escape. So, he couldn't hide in the castle forever. He had to leave this ice lake first. Whoosh! After appearing, Qin Feiyong immediately used the phantom steps and rushed towards the forest by the lake. Although his speed was not as fast as the Snake Emperor, he was not far from the shore. With his speed, the Snake Emperor was stunned for a period of time, which was enough for him to successfully escape. The result was as he expected. When the Snake Emperor regained his senses, he had already escaped from the ice lake. However, before he had time to be happy, a group of people suddenly walked out of the forest in front of him. The leader immediately waved his hand, and a terrifying aura emerged, rushing towards Qin Feiyong like an avalanche. Qin Feiyong suddenly screamed, and his body was instantly fragmented. Blood splattered, dyeing the void under the night sky red. Dong! Following closely, he was like a cannonball, shot into the ice lake, and was drowned by the huge waves. Just as he fell into the ice lake, the densely packed white jade demonic snakes swarmed towards him. Why are they on the forgotten continent? The bone-chilling cold lake water allowed Qin Feiyong to maintain a trace of consciousness in his drowsy state. But in the face of the countless white jade demonic snakes, crazily biting his body, he seemed to feel no pain, and his eyes were full of disbelief. At the last moment of drowsiness, his mind moved, and he entered the castle. With a bang he fell to the ground, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Wolf King, Fatso, Lu Hong the pangolin, and the black dragon snake had already been awakened by Qin Feiyong's screams. Seeing Qin Feiyong appear with dozens of white jade demonic snakes stuck to his body, their expressions all changed. Boom! Wolf King and Fatso attacked almost at the same time. Battle chi gushed out, quickly erasing those white jade demonic snakes. Looking at Qin Feiyong's body, which was full of cuts and bruises, everyone's mood fell into an ice valley. Lu Hong even more so cried. Wolf King roared, "Don't cry, quickly look at his injuries." Chapter 782. With this check, Lu Hong's eyes trembled, and her face was full of despair. Wolf King asked, "How is it?" However, Lu Hong didn't seem to hear it, and her eyes were incomparably sad. Seeing this, Fatso, Wolf King, and the three beasts all had an uneasy premonition in their hearts. "Hurry up and say it," Wolf King roared. "His chi sea is broken. His sea of consciousness is also broken. The white jade demonic snake's poison has also permeated his blood and cells," Lu Hong muttered. At the end, she turned to look at Fatso and the others and shouted, "He's about to die." "What?" As soon as these words came out, like a thunder on the ground, Fatso and the others trembled physically and mentally, and their minds rumbled. His injuries were actually so serious? Who the hell is it? I swear I will kill you. Fatso roared again and again, as if he had gone mad. The pangolin and the black dragon snake's eyes were also full of grief and indignation. After getting along for so long, everyone had long regarded each other as family and couldn't bear to part with them. This time, their hearts were filled with killing intent. What's the use of shouting now? Wolf King roared angrily and shouted, Fatso, quickly go and find the Spirit Sea Pill, Essence Soul Pill, and Detoxification Pill. Fatso immediately turned and ran towards the altar. The pills refined by Qin Feiyong were basically placed on the altar and stored in a Qianquan bag for everyone's convenience. It's too late. His injuries are too serious, these pills are useless. Lu Hong shook her head, her eyes full of sadness. Fatso's body trembled. It can't be, the mysterious madam is so vicious, but she can still continue to live freely. Although the boss is not a good person, he has never done anything outrageous. He won't be so short-lived. Fatso grabbed the Qianquan bag, looking for the pills while shaking his head and muttering to himself. Tears also couldn't help but burst out of his eyes. In fact, from the beginning, he had already seen that Qin Feiyong was hopeless. But he was unwilling to give up. He didn't believe that Qin Feiyong would die like this. Therefore, no matter what the result was, he had to try and never give up. Because in the past, Qin Feiyong had never given up on them when their lives were in danger. Fatso stopped looking. Suddenly, the Wolf King's voice was filled with grief that could not be dispersed. Why not? As long as boss is still breathing, we can't give up. Where are the pills? Why can't I find it? Damn it, get the hell out here for Fat Lord. Fatso roared hysterically. His heart was in a complete mess. Finally, he found the pill. But he didn't dare to turn around. Both of his hands clutched tightly onto a medicinal pill. He lay weakly on the altar and cried bitterly. He didn't need to look back to sense Qin Feiyong's current situation. The flame of life was already gone. His aura was also almost gone. He was no different from a dead man. Why didn't we agree to live and die together? Why did you leave first? Wolf King walked towards Qin Feiyong step by step, muttering to himself. His heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife, and the pain was unbearable. I haven't had the chance to repay you for your kindness in recognizing my worth. The pangolin also cried out sadly. If it wasn't for Qin Feiyong, it would still be an unknown ferocious beast outside the city. It wouldn't have the achievements it had today. Although it didn't say it out loud, it had always been grateful to Qin Feiyong. At this moment, the emotions in its heart could no longer be controlled and poured out. At the same time, Black Dragon Snake also silently shed tears. The most painful one was Lu Hong. She hugged Qin Feiyong tightly in her arms, her eyes full of reluctance and nostalgia. At the same moment, spiritual state, inner hall. Qin Feiyong, what happened to you? Why do I feel that you are about to die? In a cultivation room, a blonde woman also clutched her chest, her face full of panic. Inside the castle. No, boss won't die. Suddenly, Fatso got up and roared. Huh. Lu Hong and the others looked at him in surprise. The flame of life. Back in the Nine Nether Hell, my heart was shattered by the Crocodile Emperor. It was the flame of life that brought me back to life. Fatso said. That's right. The flame of life can save him. Quick, quick, quick. Wolf King's eyes trembled and hurriedly roared. Back then, although that cluster of flame of life merged with Fatso, Qin Feiyong later obtained another cluster of flame of life in the mother crocodile's nest. That time, Black Dragon Snake was also present. Hearing Wolf King's roar, Fatso glanced at the altar and grabbed a jade box. When he opened it, a majestic life energy surged out like a tide. He saw a palm-sized flame of life lying quietly in the jade box. Fatso grabbed the flame of life, turned around and ran in front of Qin Feiyong. Without waiting for Fatso to speak, Lu Hong stretched out her jade hand, grabbed Qin Feiyong's chin and gently pinched it. Qin Feiyong's mouth opened slightly. Fatso squatted down and stuffed the flame of life into Qin Feiyong's mouth without hesitation. Boom! That majestic life force immediately exploded in Qin Feiyong's body, like waves of anger. crazily surging towards Qin Feiyang's limbs and bones. His broken body also immediately recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than 100 breaths, Qin Feiyang's wounds all over his body healed one after another. His skin was like a newborn. However, although his injuries were healed, Qin Feiyang's life fluctuations did not recover. It's useless? Everyone's heart sank into the ice valley again, and they fell into panic. Outside by the lake, the group of people who attacked Qin Feiyang was still there. In the air above the ice lake, the Snake Emperor and countless white jade demonic snakes stared at the group of people warily. Because they felt the threat of death from these people, they did not dare to act rashly. But the group of people did not pay attention to them, and their eyes were firmly locked on the ice lake. After an unknown period of time, one of them said, "Lord, Qin Feiyang should be dead this time, right?" "Yes." "He was unprepared and took a full blow from me. Plus there are countless white jade demonic snakes in the ice lake. He definitely has no hope of escaping. Let's go back and report. As for that ice crystal flower, it will be buried with him," the leader said coldly. Then, he opened a teleportation gate and led the group away. Shua! Not long after the portal disappeared, a figure of light broke through the air. "Qin Feiyang, where are you? Come out quickly. I know I was wrong. I won't act on my own in the future. Okay?" Accompanying it was an anxious voice. That's right. It was the double-winged snow eagle. But it did not know about Qin Feiyang's death, and only thought that Qin Feiyang was deliberately avoiding it because he was angry. Shua! At the same time, the mysterious lady appeared out of thin air above the ice lake. "Why are you here?" Seeing this person appear, the double-winged snow eagle flew over with a trace of vigilance in its eyes. The mysterious lady said, "Qin Feiyang was ambushed just now, and now he is under the ice lake." "What? Who ambushed him?" The double-winged snow eagle was surprised. The mysterious lady said, "His enemy." The double-winged snow eagle's eyes trembled, and it looked down at the ice lake and asked, "Is he still alive?" "I don't know." The mysterious lady shook her head. The double-winged snow eagle was stunned, and it said in shock and anger, "How do you know he was ambushed by his enemy?" "I saw it with my own eyes." The mysterious lady said, "You saw it with your own eyes?" The double-winged snow eagle was stunned, and it said angrily, "Then why didn't you save him?" The mysterious lady looked at the double-winged snow eagle and asked, "Why should I save him?" The double-winged snow eagle was speechless. "I remember that you and he have not known each other for long. Why do you care so much about him?" The mysterious lady asked curiously. "He is a very loyal person. This empress admires him very much. Most importantly, he has not helped this empress open the door of potential." "My door of potential? Bastard, come out quickly, help me open the door of potential before you die." "Okay?" The double-winged snow eagle cried out sadly, full of unwillingness. Looking at the double-winged snow eagle crying like a ghost, the mysterious lady's cheeks twitched. "Why are all the beasts around Qin Feiyang like this?" The mysterious lady looked at the ice lake again, and said, "Don't cry, he should not be dead yet." The double-winged snow eagle was stunned, and it said in surprise, "How do you know?" "Intuition," the mysterious lady said. The double-winged snow eagle immediately rolled its eyes. If intuition could be relied on, even pigs could climb trees. Suddenly, its eyes turned and it put away the sky thunder sword, turned into the size of a palm, and leaned in front of the mysterious lady, and said with a smile, "I'm curious to ask, what is the relationship between you and Qin Feiyang?" "My relationship with him?" The mysterious lady pondered for a moment, and said with a faint smile, "It could be an enemy, or it could be a friend." The double-winged snow eagle raised its eyebrows, and said angrily, "Can you speak human language?" The mysterious lady looked up and stared at it, and a dangerous signal was released from her eyes. Don't, let's talk nicely, don't fight." The double-winged snow eagle's expression changed, and it quickly waved its wings. "I really admire Qin Feiyang to be able to tolerate you guys. If it were me, I would have killed you and used you to make soup." The mysterious lady looked at it coldly, and then lowered her head to look at the ice lake again. No one knew what she was thinking, and her eyes flickered. The double-winged snow eagle also tactfully fell silent, but its heart was praying, "Bastard, don't die." As for the Snake Emperor, The moment the mysterious lady appeared, it had already taken the ice crystal flower and dived to the bottom of the lake. Time passed like this day by day. 3 days later, inside the ancient castle, Fatso and the others had not closed their eyes and had been guarding Qin Feiyang's side. However, 3 days had passed, and Qin Feiyang's life force still had not recovered. Even breathing and heartbeat were not present. Their hearts were also getting more and more desperate day by day. It can't be. You will definitely be able to survive, because a lot of people are waiting for you to go back, Lu Hong whispered, gently rubbing Qin Feiyang's face, her eyes revealing deep love. Actually, she had long liked Qin Feiyang, but all this time, she had been hiding this love in her heart. Now, Qin Feiyang's life was hanging by a thread, and she could no longer control this feeling. If possible, she would rather use her life to exchange for Qin Feiyang's life. Fatso looked at Lu Hong as if he had something to say, but didn't know how to say it. In the end, he sighed and said, God is really unfair to the boss. Yes. Chapter 783. Once, as the number one genius of the imperial capital and the most promising person to inherit the throne, he could be said to have been doted on by thousands. But in the end, not only was his cultivation abolished, but he was also expelled from the imperial capital. In those 5 years in Iron Ox Town, Qin Feiyang was like an ant living in a gray area, struggling desperately to survive. With great difficulty he finally managed to get up. After countless tribulations and setbacks, he finally returned to the imperial capital as he wished. But what he faced was the ruthless attitude and means of the emperor. To make matters worse, the emperor actually abolished his mother's position as the empress. He even sent his mother to the gods' prison. If it were anyone else facing such a heavy blow, they would have collapsed long ago. But Qin Feiyang was still working hard and never gave up. Why was God so cruel to a person who worked so hard? Recalling these things, Wolf King, Fatso, and the others all felt injustice for Qin Feiyang. If God has eyes, can he take care of this poor person more? Let him wake up. He still has a lot of unfulfilled wishes. Everyone prayed and called in their hearts. Everyone's hearts seemed to have been heard by God. Qin Feiyang's body suddenly overflowed with a trace of life. Heartbeat and breathing also appeared. Although it was very weak, it did exist. Is it an illusion? Everyone noticed it at the first moment, but they couldn't believe it. It's not an illusion. Lu Hong shook her head. Qin Feiyang was in her arms. Therefore, she could clearly feel every heartbeat and every breath he took. Is God showing up? Fatso, Wolf King, and the other beasts looked at each other, and then ecstasy emerged in their eyes. God didn't disappoint those who worked hard. There was finally hope. Time passed day by day. Why, on this day, Qin Feiyang suddenly roared. Lu Hong and the others were shocked and hurriedly looked at Qin Feiyang with concern. Qin Feiyang's hands were tightly clenched, and his face that was as pale as paper was distorted. However, he did not open his eyes. It was as if he was having a nightmare, and his eyes were filled with pain. Lu Hong grabbed Qin Feiyang's hand and said, "Don't be afraid. We're all here." "Why? Do you want me to die that badly?" However, Qin Feiyang didn't seem to hear him. The more he roared, the more agitated and angry he became. At the same time, he grabbed Lu Hong's jade-like hand, as if he was grabbing onto a life-saving straw, refusing to let go. Lu Hong felt a little pain. However, she didn't retract her hand and continued to comfort him. Who was it that plotted against boss? Looking at Qin Feiyang's pained expression, Fatso couldn't help but emit a shocking killing intent. Without a doubt, for Qin Feiyang to have such a reaction, it must have something to do with the person who attacked him. Could it be the Emperor? Black Dragon Snake guessed. Impossible. The Emperor doesn't even know that we are in the Forgotten Continent. Moreover, even if he knew, he wouldn't come in person. However, it should be related to the Emperor, Wolf King said. Under Lu Hong's comfort, Qin Feiyang gradually calmed down and continued to fall into a deep sleep. However, his brows were still furrowed. The pain between his brows was still there, and it was difficult to erase. He was still holding Lu Hong's hand tightly. However, Without waiting for everyone to breathe a sigh of relief, Qin Feiyong once again roared hysterically, "I refuse to accept this." As the roar sounded, a wave of resentment and hatred rushed out of his body. There was also a shocking murderous aura. At the same time, his long black hair quietly began to change. A trace of blood gradually climbed up the black hair. As soon as this blood color appeared, it was like a plague quickly spreading to all his hair. Look! Fatso was the first to notice Qin Feiyong's abnormality. When Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the other beasts looked at Qin Feiyong's hair, they were also shocked. What's going on? At this moment, Qin Feiyong's consciousness fell into a strange space. This space was boundless, and there was nothing in it. Where is this? Qin Feiyong stood in the void, looking around in confusion. This is my world. Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. Who's talking? Qin Feiyong shouted. Crack! Boom! But before his voice fell, a gale suddenly rose in the sky, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The originally pure white clouds quickly turned blood red. Crash! Following closely, it started to rain heavily. However, the shocking thing was that this rain was actually a rain of blood. The entire area was instantly dyed blood red. Qin Feiyong stood in the blood rain, and soon became a bloody man. He stretched out his hand, and the blood rain gathered in his palm. He could clearly sense that each drop of blood rain was filled with a shocking murderous aura. But he felt that this evil spirit was very familiar, as if it was a part of his body. Isn't it very familiar? That cold and sinister voice suddenly rang out from behind him. Qin Feiyong suddenly turned around, and immediately retreated in horror as if he had seen a ghost. He saw that in the void behind him, there was a young man in blood-red clothes. And this young man in blood-red clothes, whether it was his figure or his face, was exactly the same as him. The only difference was that the young man in blood-red clothes had long blood-red hair and a pair of blood-red eyes, like a sea of blood. Moreover, he was like the incarnation of all evil, emitting a strong evil spirit. The young man in blood-red clothes said, "I am your incarnation. What are you afraid of?" Incarnation? Qin Feiyong was stunned. He frowned and said, "Who are you and where is this?" "This is the world in the deepest part of your heart. And I am the incarnation of your resentment. To put it bluntly, I am your inner demons," the young man in blood-red clothes said with a sinister smile. Inner demons. Qin Feiyong's eyes trembled. Last time in the illusion of the Bridge of Helplessness, he had encountered inner demons, and it took him a lot of effort to destroy the inner demons. But he did not expect that the inner demons would appear again. And it seemed that the inner demons that appeared this time were more terrifying than the inner demons that appeared last time. The young man in blood-red clothes grinned and said, "You guessed right, I am indeed stronger than the inner demons that appeared last time." Qin Feiyong was shocked. He knew what he was thinking. The young man in blood-red clothes said again, "You and I are one. Of course I know what you are thinking." "Then why can't I know what you are thinking?" Qin Feiyong frowned. "Because I am the incarnation of resentment, and I can isolate your perception. Of course, if you really want to know, I can let you sense it. After all, we are the same person." The young man in blood-red clothes laughed. Qin Feiyong's eyes darkened, and he said, "I don't care what incarnation you are. Disappear immediately." Disappear? It was not easy for me to be born. How can I disappear? Besides, you are not qualified to continue controlling this body. Do you know why? The young man in blood-red clothes sneered. "Why?" Qin Feiyong asked. "Because you are too weak, too useless. This fleshly body could have become even stronger. However, in your hands it's so weak. It is too wasteful. You are wasting God's gift. Therefore, I want to seize this body and become a new Qin Feiyong. I'm going to make the heavens and earth, and every living thing in the heavens and earth submit to me. And you disappear from now on. Don't worry. I will help you fulfill your long-cherished wish one by one. That bullshit emperor will soon be buried with you." After saying that, the body of the young man in blood-red clothes suddenly collapsed, turning into a bloody wave that rushed toward Qin Feiyong. "Don't even think about it." Qin Feiyong shouted and immediately launched a counterattack. However, he was shocked to find that the blood rain was like iron chains that locked his body, and he could not move. At the same time, Qin Feiyong's long hair outside had turned blood red. Lu Hong and the others looked at this scene and did not know what to do. In the inner world. Stop struggling, it is useless. Every drop of blood rain here is formed from your resentment and malice. Although they were born because of you, they are all used by me now. So now in this inner world I am the master. The domineering voice of the inner demons came out from the blood wave and resounded through the sky. Master? You think too highly of yourself. Get lost. Qin Feiyong roared. A strong will rushed out of his body like a volcanic eruption. The blood rain that bound him instantly turned into ashes. Then, his body also collapsed, turning into a white wave that rushed toward the blood wave formed by the inner demons. At the same time, the blood color in Qin Feiyong's hair gradually began to fade. What is going on? Lu Hong and the others were very anxious. Boom! In the inner world, the two blood waves violently collided, and the void also trembled. Give up. If this inner world collapses, we will all disappear. Do you know what it means to disappear? It means that your consciousness will be turned into ashes. The inner demon grinned hideously with an incomparable craziness. Qin Feiyong did not speak. The white wave, with a strong will, crazily collided with the blood wave. Rumble. Crack. A series of loud sounds shook the sky and the earth. Cracks began to appear in the void. Are you really not afraid of death? The inner demon's voice came out, with a trace of panic. If you can't even fulfill your own wish, then what is the point of living? Qin Feiyong said coldly. You are not only a lunatic but also an idiot. The inner demons was furious. Lunatic or idiot in short, I will not let you succeed. Qin Feiyong roared. His powerful willpower and monstrous aura actually forced the inner demon to retreat. 100 breaths passed. Qin Feiyong's inner world was shattered and was about to collapse. Stop! The inner demons hurriedly retreated, turned into human form, and stared at Qin Feiyong angrily. Qin Feiyong also stopped in the void, condensed into human form, and said sarcastically, the inner demons are actually so afraid of death. Who is more cowardly and who is more incompetent? The inner demons frowned and said helplessly, well, I am afraid of you. How about we talk? Do you think it is necessary? Chapter 784. You don't think so? The inner demons retorted. No. Qin Feiyong said without hesitation. Haha, the inner demons laughed maniacally. They looked at Qin Feiyong as though they were looking at an idiot. I've already said that I'm different from the inner demons of the past. The inner demons of the past were formed from your obsession and were born in an illusion. They're not on the same level as me. As for me, as long as the Emperor is still alive, I'll always exist. If you don't believe me, you can try to kill me. The inner demons placed his hands behind his back and smiled confidently. I don't believe you. A cold glint flashed in Qin Feiyong's eyes. He activated the Guiyuan sword technique and the Void End technique at the same time. Clang! 30 sword shadows shook the sky and slashed out with devastating force. The inner demons collapsed on the spot and turned into a bloody mist. Immediately after, the invisible force pounced forward, frantically grinding away at the blood mist. It's useless. It's all in vain. However, soon after, the inner demon's mocking voice rang in the air. I don't believe you. Qin Feiyong was furious. The Crimson Sword Soul, the Nine-Leaf Fire Lotus, and the Purple Gold Dragon Soul roared. Their terrifying power was earth-shattering. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, a large part of the bloody mist instantly disappeared. There's hope. Qin Feiyong's eyes lit up. I really don't understand. Where did you see hope? The inner demon sneered. As soon as he finished speaking, the bloody rain in this space collapsed at the same time, turning into a bloody mist that surged in the void. There's only one way in this world to make me disappear, and that's to kill the Emperor. He is our father. Haha. The inner demons laughed maniacally. They were filled with an unruly aura. Qin Feiyong was dumbfounded. The laughter of the inner demons was erratic, echoing throughout the inner world. It was as if all the blood mist was his incarnation. A moment later, the inner demons revealed their true forms and mocked. What do you think? You can't do anything about it, can you? Who? Qin Feiyang let out a long breath and nodded. All right, let's talk. Why didn't you agree earlier? Why did you have to waste so much time? The inner demon smiled proudly. I can give up on seizing this body, but I have a request. What request? Qin Feiyang frowned. During the day, you will be in control of this body. I will not disturb you. But at night, I have to be in control. In other words, we will take turns controlling this body. The inner demons said. Impossible. Qin Feiyang flatly refused. These inner demons were many times more evil than the inner demons that had appeared last time. If she really let him control the body, who knows what kind of outrageous things he might do. So there's no room for discussion? Let me tell you, as long as I do something, it's enough to crush you. The inner demons threatened. For example? Qin Feiyang asked. It seems that if I don't tell you the stakes clearly, you won't be afraid. For example, when you are fighting, I will suddenly seize control of this body. Inner demon chuckled and said, looking as if he was certain that he could eat Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's heart sank. If that was the case, it would be really bad. Because during a battle, the worst thing was to be distracted. And once the inner demon seized control of the body, he would definitely be distracted to fight against the inner demons. When the time came, the consequences would be unimaginable. It seemed that he had to think of a way to control the inner demons. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. The inner demon saw through Qin Feiyang's thoughts and said disdainfully, what can you do to control me? Qin Feiyang was silent. Suddenly, there was a trace of madness in his eyes, and he said, since there's no way, then let's die together. As soon as he said that, his body directly collapsed, turning into a huge white wave, and rushed towards the inner demons. Madman! The inner demons' expression changed and quickly said, okay, I'll compromise. You can do whatever you want. Qin Feiyang appeared in the void. He was gambling. Since the inner demons were afraid of death, they would use this weakness to threaten him. Sure enough, the inner demons were afraid. He looked at the inner demons and said, in the future, without my permission, you are not allowed to come out and cause trouble. Okay, you have the final say. The inner demons nodded helplessly, and then said, but can I have a small request? Say it. Qin Feiyang said. It's boring to stay here all the time. Let me out occasionally to get some fresh air. This request isn't too much, right? The inner demons said with a trace of pleading. Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment and nodded. I can agree. Then it's settled. The inner demons laughed, then sat cross-legged in the void, closed his eyes and said no more. Qin Feiyang took a deep look at him, and his figure quickly dissipated. At the same time, in the castle, Qin Feiyang's long hair had returned to normal, and his closed eyes suddenly moved. He's awake. Lu Hong and the others had been paying attention to Qin Feiyang. When they noticed this abnormality, a trace of surprise appeared on their faces. A moment later, Qin Feiyang finally opened his eyes, and there was confusion in his eyes. Little Qin Zi. Boss. Everyone squatted on the ground and looked at him with concern. I'm not dead? Qin Feiyang glanced at them. When he saw the familiar faces, he couldn't help but be absent-minded. Nonsense. If you're dead, can you still see us? Wolf King laughed and scolded. I'm really not dead. I'm really lucky. Qin Feiyang muttered. It's not that you're lucky. It's the fire of life that saved you. Wolf King said. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang was stunned and puzzled. The Wolf King explained the situation in a simple and clear manner. I see. Then my body. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood, and then looked at his body in surprise. Fatso laughed and said, it must have become an immortal body like Fat Lord. Immortal body, then I really got a blessing in disguise. Qin Feiyang murmured, and a smile appeared on his pale face. Boom! But before he could finish his sentence, a powerful aura suddenly rushed out of his body uncontrollably. Moreover, this aura was getting stronger and stronger, and there were faint traces of him breaking through to the 7-star War Master. Qin Feiyang was startled. Fatso and the others also looked at him in shock. What was going on? Suddenly, Fatso seemed to have thought of something and laughed out loud. Boss, you've earned it. What do you mean? Everyone looked at him suspiciously. Have you forgotten? Back then, after Fat Lord fused with the fire of life, he also broke through a small realm, Fatso said. That's right. After being reminded by Fatso, everyone remembered. That time, Fatso was only a one-star war master, but once he fused with the fire of life, he directly stepped into the two-star war master. He remembered that at that time, Wolf King was still very unbalanced in his heart. Finally, Qin Feiyang's aura indeed soared to the level of a 7-star war master before stopping. Don't be envious, this is something that can't be envied. Looking at the envious gazes of Wolf King and the other beasts, Qin Feiyang laughed. Show off. Wolf King waved its claws in disdain, but its eyes started to roll. It was said that there were a total of 9 clusters of fire of life in this world. Now, they had only found 2 clusters, and there were still 7 clusters of fire of life that were scattered outside. If he could find it, it would also have an immortal body. At the same time, Qin Feiyang wanted to get up, but the pain all over his body made him unable to move. Lie down for a while longer. Lu Hong laughed. She took out a heal pill and placed it next to Qin Feiyang's mouth. Qin Feiyang was startled. It was only now that he realized that he was actually lying on Lu Hong's legs. Smelling that alluring body fragrance, he couldn't help but feel restless. He hurriedly raised his hand, took the heal pill, and put it into his mouth. He smiled and said, "It's fine now, help me up." Lu Hong could not help but feel disappointed, and her eyes dimmed. However, she concealed it well, and even Qin Feiyang did not notice it. Next, she looked at Fatso, and saw that Fatso was looking at her and Qin Feiyang with a wretched expression. Her face immediately turned red, and she angrily said, "What are you standing there for? Quickly come and help." Heh. Fatso laughed sinisterly and stepped forward to help Qin Feiyang up. After getting up, Qin Feiyang moved his muscles and bones a little, looked at the crowd and said, "I've made everyone worry." "Who's worried about you?" Wolf King immediately said. "That's right, don't think too highly of yourself." The pangolin also joined in and teased. Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled, a warm current flowing in his heart. These guys were stubborn, but their hearts were better than anyone else's. Suddenly, Fatso raised his eyebrows and asked, "Oh right, who attacked you?" Hearing this, everyone fell silent, and a cold light flashed in their eyes. Qin Feiyang also clenched his hands, silent, and there was a trace of pain in his eyes. A moment later, he let out a long breath and said, "It's the commander of the Black Iron Army." "What? How did he know we were in the Forgotten Continent? Did the old man tell him?" Everyone was surprised, because only the old man knew that they were in the Forgotten Continent. However, with their relationship with the old man should not betray them. Before this matter is investigated clearly, we can't make wild guesses, Qin Feiyang said. He also did not believe that the old man would expose them. Everyone looked at each other and temporarily put this matter aside. Fatty said, "There's another question. When you were unconscious, why did your hair turn blood red? It's as if you've gone mad." "Is that so?" Qin Feiyang looked at them in astonishment. They all nodded. Qin Feiyang could not help but frown. Could it be related to the inner demons? "It is related to me. If I succeed in seizing it, this body will look exactly like me." The inner demon's voice sounded in his mind. "So it's like that," Qin Feiyang muttered, looked at Fatso and the others and smiled. "When I was unconscious, I had a nightmare. It should be related to the nightmare." He did not plan to tell everyone about the inner demons so that they would not worry about him. Hearing this, everyone did not think much about it, and thought that it was reasonable. The commander of the Black Iron Army went thousands of miles into the Forgotten Continent to kill Qin Feiyang. He must have been instructed by the emperor. Facing this kind of thing, it would be strange if Qin Feiyang did not have a nightmare. Sigh. Fatso sighed deeply, patted Qin Feiyang's shoulder and comforted him. "Boss, don't be sad. No matter how the emperor treats you, we will always stand behind you. Yes, as long as we are here, you will not be fighting alone." Wolf King nodded. Chapter 785. Qin Feiyang looked at everyone, his eyes filled with gratitude. Although his life was very unfortunate, there were also things to be happy about. That was to be lucky enough to get to know this group of friends in front of him. No matter what setbacks or difficulties he encountered, everyone would follow him and never leave him. This was friendship, no one could give it up. He did not argue and asked, "How long has it been since I fainted?" "Half a month," Fatso said. "How time flies." Qin Feiyang sighed deeply. With a thought, he appeared at the bottom of the ice lake. The bone-piercing lake water made him quiver. Next, he scanned the surroundings and his brows furrowed tightly. There were white jade magic snakes all around. The Snake Emperor was not far away, and the ice crystal flower was right beside it. Seeing Qin Feiyang appear, the Snake Emperor was surprised. He actually didn't die? Hiss! Following that, it let out a sharp cry, and the surrounding white jade magic snakes immediately swarmed towards Qin Feiyang. Shua! Qin Feiyang's figure flashed, and as expected he entered the castle. Wolf King asked, "How's the situation?" Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "Not good, the Snake Emperor is hiding at the bottom of the lake. I'm afraid it will be difficult to escape." Lu Hong said, "Don't worry about it for now, hurry up and recuperate." "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. He had just woken up, and his injuries were still very serious. If he were to escape from the ice lake now, he would most likely die. At the same time, the mysterious lady who was standing above the ice lake suddenly revealed a smile on her face. "What are you laughing at?" The dual-winged snow eagle looked at her in confusion. He really didn't die. The mysterious lady laughed. The dual-winged snow eagle was stunned for a moment, then immediately became overjoyed. It immediately spread its wings and rushed towards the ice lake. The mysterious lady teased, "There is another white jade magic snake at the bottom of the lake. You have to think carefully." The dual-winged snow eagle's eyes trembled, and hurriedly stopped in the air. It raised its head and looked at the mysterious lady pleadingly and said, "Then can you help him?" The mysterious lady said, "Give me a reason, why should I help him?" The double-winged snow eagle was in a dilemma. It couldn't even figure out the relationship between Qin Feiyang and this woman. What reason could it find? No. Suddenly, a glint flashed across its eyes. If this woman didn't want to save Qin Feiyang, then why did she stay here? There was only one possibility. She was here to save Qin Feiyang. If he said that he wouldn't save it, he would just be teasing it. Thinking of this, the double-winged snow eagle laughed sinisterly. It flapped its wings and soared into the sky, leaving directly. The mysterious madam was stunned. She frowned and asked, "Aren't you going to save him?" "I want to save him. But I don't have that ability. So after thinking about it, I decided to forget about it. Although I didn't manage to unlock the gate of potential, it's still not a loss. At the very least, I managed to get a sacred artifact." The two-winged snow eagle said without turning its head. The mysterious lady's face darkened. This bastard was really unreliable. Next, she ignored the winged snow eagle and looked down at the frozen lake. She waved her hand gently. Boom! Immediately, an invisible force emerged and blasted into the frozen lake below. Accompanied by a loud noise, the entire frozen lake evaporated in an instant, turning into a bottomless pit. Other than the Snake Emperor and the ice crystal flower, the rest of the white jade demonic snakes were also killed. Hearing the commotion, the double-winged snow eagle stopped in the air and turned to look at the frozen lake. Looking at the mysterious lady, its eyes were filled with pride. At the same time, the Snake Emperor was also shocked. He hurriedly rolled up the ice crystal flower and escaped. Boom! However, the mysterious lady only released a little bit of her pressure and imprisoned the Snake Emperor in the air. Subsequently, the mysterious lady said, "Qin Feiyang, come out." In the castle. Hearing the mysterious lady's voice, Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. Wasn't this woman massacring the people in the second and first areas? Why was she here? Fatso said, "This old witch must be planning something again. Boss, you have to be careful." Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded and left the castle. Seeing that the lake water had evaporated, he was not surprised at all. He raised his head and looked at the mysterious lady. Then he dragged his tired body and flew up into the sky. The mysterious lady looked at Qin Feiyang and teased, "You're not dead even like this. You're really lucky. If you're not dead, how can I die? Qin Feiyong said with a smile. The mysterious lady laughed heartily and said, I saved you after all. Aren't you going to thank me properly? Qin Feiyong landed in front of the mysterious lady and said, I'm afraid you're not that kind. Although we haven't known each other for long, I didn't expect you to know me so well. That's right. I didn't save you for nothing. I heard that you can help people open the door of potential. I'm very curious, how did you do it? Also, why did your father cripple your cultivation and send people to kill you from afar? The mysterious lady said. Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and looked at the double-winged snow eagle. The double-winged snow eagle's expression changed and quickly explained. I said that I can help people open the door of potential. But I didn't say a word about your background. You must believe me. Didn't say a word? Qin Feiyong frowned and looked at the mysterious lady suspiciously. Half a month ago, I met a man who claimed to be the commander of the invincible Black Army in White Fox City. He told me. And I told him about your whereabouts. The mysterious lady smiled. Bastard. Qin Feiyong clenched his fists and his eyes were filled with killing intent. It turned out that it was this damned woman who told the commander about his whereabouts. You want to kill me, don't you? Unfortunately, you don't have the ability now. I like to see your helpless face. The mysterious lady laughed. Qin Feiyong said gloomily, Is it very interesting to play with others in the palm of your hand? Yes. The mysterious lady nodded. Qin Feiyong said, So, the people in the first and second areas have been killed by you? Of course. The mysterious lady said. Qin Feiyong's eyes were burning with anger. He gritted his teeth and said, You will pay for what you have done sooner or later. The mysterious lady said lightly, That's a matter for the future. Now please answer my question. Phew. Qin Feiyong stared at her and finally sighed. He nodded and said, Okay, as long as you are willing to help, I will show you. How? The mysterious lady asked. Qin Feiyong looked at the double-winged snow eagle and said expressionlessly, Come here. The double-winged snow eagle was stunned. Then, as if he thought of something, he immediately rushed to Qin Feiyong's side. Qin Feiyong entered the castle, took out a potential pill and threw it to the double-winged snow eagle. Finally begins. The double-winged snow eagle was extremely excited and quickly swallowed the potential pill. At the same time, Qin Feiyong also retreated a few steps, creating a distance between him and the double-winged snow eagle. He looked at the mysterious lady and said, Release your pressure now. Take it easy, don't kill it. The mysterious lady was a war king. If she released all of her pressure, she would definitely kill the double-winged snow eagle. Seeing Qin Feiyong's mysterious look, the mysterious lady could not help but frown. Previous chapter, next chapter, the next moment. A wave of pressure emerged and pounced towards the double-winged snow eagle. The strength of this pressure was only 1/10 of her peak. But even so, the double-winged snow eagle instantly entered a suffocating state, its eyes filled with pain. Moreover, the energy that erupted from the potential pill was like a wild horse that had escaped its reins, crazily running around in its body. Even though it was a 9-star war sect, it was still difficult for it to withstand. In an instant, its entire body was dripping with blood as it turned into a blood eagle. Bastard, are you taking the opportunity to harm me? The double-winged snow eagle roared. Qin Feiyong said in disdain, Do you think your life is valuable? Do you need me to use the potential pill to harm you? But hearing these sarcastic words, the double-winged snow eagle heaved a sigh of relief. Potential pill. At the same time, hearing this name, the mysterious lady's eyes trembled slightly. About 10 breaths later, boom! A muffled rumbling sound suddenly exploded from within the double-winged snow eagle's body. Following closely, from between its eyebrows, rays of resplendent white light blossomed. Potential imprint born. Qin Feiyong said, That's enough. Hurt. The mysterious lady retracted her pressure and quickly rushed in front of the double-winged snow eagle. She pushed aside the feathers between the double-winged snow eagle's eyebrows, and when she saw the potential imprint, her face was immediately filled with shock. It actually worked. After a long while, she finally regained her senses. She turned around and suddenly looked at Qin Feiyong, and said, Where did you find this potential pill? Why should I tell you? Qin Feiyong coldly snorted. The mysterious lady looked at him deeply and said, "Even if you don't say it, I can guess it." Qin Feiyong was surprised. Legend has it that the former emperor of the Heavenly Sun Empire, Mu Tianyang, could also refine a pill that could unlock the door of potential. It was precisely this pill that made the Heavenly Sun Empire flourish, and no one dared to compete with it. But in the end, your ancestor was like a comet, rapidly rising. Not only did he kill Mu Tianyang, but he also destroyed the Heavenly Sun Empire. But since then, the pill that could unlock the door of potential disappeared from the world forever. But I never thought that it would appear in your body now, the mysterious lady said incredulously. Similarly, when Qin Feiyong heard this, he was also surprised. This woman actually knew so much? The mysterious lady smiled and said, "I know far more than you think. How about we make a deal?" "What kind of deal?" Qin Feiyong frowned. The mysterious lady said, "Give me the potential pills recipe, and I will tell you about the Mujia situation." "Impossible." Qin Feiyong flatly refused. He really wanted to know about the Mujia situation, but to exchange the potential pills recipe, he couldn't do it. "Kid, you're really stubborn. Anyway, I also gave you so many perfect battle techniques, and I also gave you the Heavenly Thunder Flame and the Ice Flame. Don't you know how to repay me?" The mysterious lady was a little angry. Her eyes looked like she was looking at a white-eyed wolf. Qin Feiyong coldly said, "But you also hurt me a lot. Let's not talk about the past, but this time, if there was no fire of life, he would have already reported to hell." "Well, then let's change the condition. Give me some of the pill that can unlock the door of potential, and I will tell you about my origin." Chapter 786. Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. He had always been curious about the mysterious lady's identity. If he could really use some potential pills to find the answer, it would not be a loss. "Sure. But you have to tell me first before I can give you the pills. After all, you're so strong. If you run away with the pills, wouldn't I lose more than I gain?" After pondering for a while, Qin Feiyong nodded and said, "What a vigilant little guy." The mysterious lady mumbled and shook her head. "That won't do. What if I tell you first and you don't give me the pills?" "Do I dare?" Qin Feiyong sneered. "Is there anything you don't dare to do?" The mysterious lady laughed. Qin Feiyong had a space divine item that could hide in. Of course, she had to be careful. Otherwise, if she suffered a loss, she would have no place to complain. Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and said, "Seems like we can't come to an agreement. You have to trust me. Although I'm not a good person, my words are trustworthy. How about this? Give me 3 potential elixirs first. After I tell you about my background, you can give me the remaining potential elixirs." The mysterious lady suggested. "You know about the potential pill?" Qin Feiyong's eyes trembled. He thought that this woman only knew about the potential pill, and he only intended to take out the potential pill. But he did not expect that this woman even knew about the potential pill. The mysterious lady pursed her lips and smiled. "I said that I know far more than you think. For example, the little creation pill." Qin Feiyong's heart was in turmoil. What exactly was this woman's background? "Okay, I promise you. But before that, you have to help it open the remaining gate of potential." Qin Feiyong pointed at the double-winged snow eagle and said. He did not want to delay any longer. He had to figure out this woman's identity. "This is a small matter." The mysterious lady smiled. After half a day, the double-winged snow eagle finally opened the 5th level of the gate of potential. The reason why he needed so much time was because every time he opened the gate of potential, his body would be severely injured and he would need some time to recuperate. After unlocking the 5th level of the gate of potential, the talent and cultivation speed of the double-winged snow eagle had undoubtedly undergone a tremendous change. This made it very excited and unable to extricate itself. Qin Feiyong looked at it and said expressionlessly, "You've gotten what you wanted. Return the Heavenly Thunder Sword to me and you can leave." "What do you mean?" The double-winged snow eagle was stunned, looking at Qin Feiyong in surprise. Qin Feiyong said, "Didn't you follow me to open the door of potential?" The double-winged snow eagle was stunned. It took a while before it regained its composure. Immediately, it said angrily, "Bastard, do I look like a snobbish person?" Qin Feiyong looked at it seriously and nodded. Yes. Fuck. The double-winged snow eagle was completely irritable. It roared, "If I were that kind of snobbish person, I would have already taken the heavenly thunder sword and flown far away. Why would I stay here and wait for you?" Qin Feiyong frowned and said, "You're waiting for me here. Isn't it because you're not satisfied that you haven't opened the gate of potential?" The double-winged snow eagle was silent. It looked at Qin Feiyong with disappointment in its eyes. Qin Feiyong was also silent. He stared at the double-winged snow eagle's eyes. Suddenly, he smiled. The double-winged snow eagle raised its eyebrows. What did this mean? Idiot. Can't you tell that Qin Feiyong is testing you? The mysterious lady rolled her eyes and said. Testing? The double-winged snow eagle was stunned. It looked at Qin Feiyong and asked, "Is that so?" "That's right. I don't want to have a ticking time bomb by my side." Qin Feiyong nodded and said with a smile. The double-winged snow eagle had not been with him for long. In addition, it was stubborn and unruly, so he wanted to give it a try. Was the double-winged snow eagle sincere in following him? The result was also very obvious. The double-winged snow eagle following him was not a joke. But the double-winged snow eagle was unhappy. It was fine if he did not believe it, but he actually used such a wicked method to test it. It was too much. "Let me tell you, you can forget about this thunder sword." It snorted coldly and turned its head away in a fit of anger, looking very cold. Qin Feiyong shook his head and laughed. He ignored it and took out 3 potential pills and threw them to the mysterious lady. The mysterious lady caught them in her hands and looked down. Her eyes were shining. "The potential pills have been given to you. Can you say it now?" Qin Feiyong frowned and said. The mysterious lady looked up at him and said with a smile, "Your ancestor and I are from the same time period." "What?" Qin Feiyong's eyes trembled, and he said in surprise, "You know my ancestor?" The mysterious lady looked up, and there was a trace of reminiscence in her eyes. She said softly, "The name of the Qin emperor shook the world. Who didn't know in that era?" Qin Feiyong could not help but be absent-minded. Shook the world. How amazing was his ancestor back then? Just how strong was he? A moment later, the mysterious lady retracted her gaze and looked at Qin Feiyong. "Give me the potential pills." Qin Feiyong was stunned and frowned. "You just told me this. Is this not enough?" The mysterious lady said. "Nonsense, what does this have to do with your true identity?" Qin Feiyong said angrily. This woman was clearly playing mind games with him. "True identity?" The mysterious lady laughed and said. "Did you remember wrongly? I only said to tell you my origin. I did not say to tell you my true identity." Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and thought about it carefully. He could not help but be angry. This woman really did not say it. He rubbed his forehead. Truly, he was smart all his life but stupid this time. Then he looked at the mysterious lady and said, "Then if I give you the potential pills, will you tell me your true identity?" The mysterious lady hesitated and nodded. "All right, you will know sooner or later anyway. Give me 2 potential pills." Qin Feiyong looked at her suspiciously, took out 2 potential pills and threw it over. The mysterious lady caught it in her hand, looked at it for a moment and said in surprise, "It's really a potential pill." Qin Feiyong said impatiently, "Don't dawdle, tell me." After the mysterious lady slowly kept the pills, she looked at Qin Feiyong and said, "I won't tell you." Qin Feiyong's eyes suddenly filled with anger. "But I can tell you if you really want to investigate the Mu family, then go to the Central Divine Kingdom. Also, for at least 5 years I won't disturb you again. Of course, I won't appear to save you again. Take care of yourself." After the mysterious lady finished speaking, she opened a teleportation door and disappeared without a trace with the Snake Emperor. However, she did not take the ice crystal flower with her and left it to Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong was originally very angry, but after hearing this, his heart felt much better. He had finally gotten rid of this terrifying female devil, although it was only for 5 years. Then he lowered his head and fell into deep thought. What kind of place was the Central Divine Kingdom? What kind of role did Mu Qing's family play in the central divine kingdom? Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something, and a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. Mu Tianyang's surname was Mu, and Mu Qing's surname was also Mu. Could the two be related? After thinking about it, he felt that it was not very possible. Mu Qing was in the Forgotten Continent. Mu Tianyang was in the Great Qin Empire. How could two people from two different places be involved? Taking a step back, if Mu Qing was related to Mu Tianyang, then the person Mu Qing was looking for should be Mu Tianyang. But why Lu Xingqian? In this mystery, what kind of role did Lu Xingqian play? Qin Feiyong scratched his head, but he could not figure it out. Forget it. He shook his head hard. Instead of racking his brains here, he might as well go directly to the Central Divine Kingdom and find out what was going on. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the ice crystal flower. He looked up at the two-winged snow eagle and said, "Did you kill that ice crocodile?" "No." The two-winged snow eagle shook its head and said angrily, "That guy's running speed is not normal. I chased for dozens of miles and still couldn't catch up. I told you not to chase, but you insisted. Who's to blame?" Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes and said, "What about the black ice fruit?" "I'm not telling you." The two-winged snow eagle turned its head and said, "Ha, you've opened the door of potential. You're awesome now, aren't you?" "Don't forget, the door of potential has a 6th and 7th level," Qin Feiyong said. Hearing this, the two-winged snow eagle immediately smiled and said, don't misunderstand. I was just joking with you." "Look at you." Qin Feiyong looked at it with disdain. The two-winged snow eagle laughed. Suddenly, a light flashed in front of it, and the small tree appeared out of thin air. The 3 black ice fruits were also intact. At that time, when the ice crocodile swallowed me, I immediately stored the small tree into my qi, so there was no damage at all. How is it? I'm smart, right? The two-winged snow eagle said flatteringly. When a beast's strength reached a certain level, its qi could be used as a storage space to store various items. Of course, humans could do it too. However, humans had qingkuan bags. Unless it was something extremely important, they would not put it in their qi. It did not mean that doing so would cause harm to their qi. It was purely a habit. Qin Feiyong glanced at it snappily and nodded. "And at least you have some brains." The two-winged snow eagle pursed its lips and asked sneakily, "Then when are you going to help me open the 6th level of the Door of Potential?" The Door of Potential had a total of 10 levels in the world. Warrior, Martial Master, Martial Ancestor, War King, War Emperor, and so on. The Extreme Warrior realm was the 1st level. The Martial Master realm was the 2nd level. And so on. The 5th level belonged to the War Emperor realm. And the two-winged snow eagle had already stepped into the 9-star war sect. In other words, it already had the qualifications to open the 6th level. However, the problem was that the potential pill could only open the 4th and 5th levels. It could not open the 6th level. To open the 6th level, you need the small creation pill. At present, there are still a lot of medicinal ingredients for the small creation pill. If you can't wait, then break through first. Qin Feiyong thought for a moment and said, "Then let's continue waiting." The two-winged snow eagle said, "If he were to break through to the War Saint realm now, then he would have to wait until the 9-star War Saint realm next time." Although he had opened the 5th level and his cultivation speed had greatly increased, compared to opening the 6th level, the difference was like heaven and earth. So, it was better to have short pain than long pain. He would step into the War Saint realm after opening the 6th level. Similarly, when the two-winged snow eagle asked this question, Qin Feiyong realized that the small creation pill was the most important thing right now. This was because he had already stepped into the 7-star war sect and was only 2 small realms away from the 9-star war sect. If he didn't hurry up and gather the medicinal ingredients for the small creation pill, he would probably face the same situation as the two-winged snow eagle. He would be stuck in the 9-star war sect and wouldn't dare to cultivate. However, the small creation pill required 10,000-year-old medicinal ingredients. Where could he find so many in such a short period of time? What a headache! Chapter 787. 3 days later. Qin Feiyong's injuries had finally healed, and his spirit had reached its peak. Then he brought the winged snow eagle and continued to rush towards the third area. Along the way, the beasts they encountered were basically all from 7 to 9 Star Wars sect. There were also quite a few War Saint level beasts. However, with the deterrence of the Heavenly Thunder Sword, coupled with the fact that they were very careful, it could be considered frightening but not dangerous. At the same time, they also found quite a few 10,000-year-old medicinal herbs in the glacier. Of course, it was impossible for all of them to be small fortune pills medicinal herbs. But even if it was other medicinal herbs, it would still be of great use. Half a month passed. One man and one beast finally flew out of the glacier and entered a snowy forest. Strange, is it always snowing in the Forgotten Continent? Qin Feiyong walked in the forest and said to the winged snow eagle lying on his shoulder. He had been in the Forgotten Continent for so long, and he had never seen a day without snow. I didn't know before. However, ever since I was born, the snow on the Forgotten Continent has never stopped. The warmest time of the year seems to be May or June, but it's still snowing, the winged snow eagle said. Qin Feiyong frowned. Then the weather here is too strange, isn't it? This kind of thing is controlled by the heavens. What are you worrying about? Hurry up and look carefully. Maybe you can even find a few 10,000-year-old medicinal herbs. The winged snow eagle said. Now, it was especially concerned about the 10,000-year-old medicinal herbs, because if it didn't open the 6th level of the gate of potential quickly, it wouldn't be able to cultivate. Qin Feiyong laughed. 10,000-year-old medicinal herbs can only be found by chance, and can't be rushed. The winged snow eagle pursed its lips. Boom! Suddenly, in the forest on the left, the sound of battle could be faintly heard. Is there a situation? The winged snow eagle was shocked and then laughed. Do you want to take a look? Only you know how to join in the fun. Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes at it, retracted his aura, and turned to the left side of the forest. Not long later, a snowy mountain range entered the line of sight of a man and an eagle. The snowy mountain range was more than 1,000 feet tall. Like a huge python, it stretched out and emitted a majestic aura. The fluctuations of battle were coming from behind the snowy mountain range. Furthermore, upon reaching that place, the battle fluctuations grew even more intense. The snowy mountain range was trembling. Snow rolled down like an avalanche, toppling mountains and overturning seas. With such a huge commotion, there must be some treasure. The double-winged snow eagle's eyes shone brightly. You're almost on par with the white-eyed wolf. Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes. He really couldn't understand why the ferocious beasts around him were all a bunch of little money grubbers. Whoosh! He used the phantom steps and rushed into the sky like a bolt of lightning. He landed on the snowy ridge and looked ahead. Immediately, his pupils shrank. Dozens of miles away, two black figures were fighting a bloody battle. Those two people were extremely powerful and were evenly matched. They fought until the sky turned dark. Moreover, the heavens and the earth were filled with a vast and mighty saint might. Obviously, both of them were battle saints. Qin Feiyong glanced at the two people. Judging from their aura, they should be one-star battle saints. The double-winged snow eagle said in surprise, "We just walked out of the glacier and we already met two battle saints. Don't tell me that there are as many battle saints as dogs in the third area?" Qin Feiyong's eyes also darkened. If what the double-winged snow eagle said was true, then wouldn't the deeper areas of the 4th and 5th areas be even stronger? The Forgotten Continent was indeed as Lu Xingchen had said. It was not simple. The double-winged snow eagle also restrained its aura to the extreme and said in a low voice, "Let's go, we'll sneak over." "Don't act recklessly," Qin Feiyong said. "Don't worry, I still know my limits. However, if there are any treasures, then it's a different story," the double-winged snow eagle said with a sly smile. Qin Feiyong glanced at it speechlessly. He then jumped down from the snowy ridge and quietly approached the battlefield. After dozens of breaths, a man and an eagle were hiding on top of a broken ice peak, watching the two figures fighting. This place was only 3 to 4 miles away from the center of the battlefield. With Qin Feiyong and the double-winged snow eagle's current strength, they could clearly see the faces of the two figures. They were an old woman and an old man, both of whom looked very old. The old woman was emaciated, dark eye bags sunk into her eye sockets, and her eyes emitted wisps of terrifying green light. She was also wearing a dark green robe. She looked like a ghost from hell. The old man, on the other hand, was quite strong. His face was flushed, and he wore a black robe. However, his wrinkled old face was also filled with a murderous aura. The two of them did not speak, as if they had a blood feud and were crazily attacking each other. It could even be said that they were using unscrupulous means. The double-winged snow eagle looked around carefully and said in confusion, "That's strange, I don't see any treasures. Why are they all so crazy? What are you thinking? Do you think that people are killing each other for treasures?" Qin Feiyang looked at it helplessly. "That's true." The double-winged snow eagle smiled embarrassedly. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at it and continued to watch the battle. The two of them were on par with each other in terms of strength, and both of them were injured to a certain extent. However, looking at the overall situation, the old man in the black robe had a higher chance of winning. As for the old woman in the green robe, although she was also extremely ferocious, she vaguely gave off a sense of powerlessness. As expected, in less than 100 breaths, the situation began to change. The old man in the black robe became fiercer and fiercer, and the old woman in the green robe was constantly pushed back. Until the end, even if the old woman in the green robe used all her means, such as battle arts and fighting souls, she could not turn the tables. The old man in the black robe had the upper hand. Boom! The last violent collision, the old woman in the green robe was immediately sent flying. Half of her body directly exploded in the void, blood staining the sky, and smashed into the glacier below, deeply buried. However, although the old man in the black robe had won, his injuries were not light. One of his arms was torn apart by the old woman in the green robe. His body was riddled with ghastly cracks, and blood was flowing out. "Stupid woman, you still want to fight with me? You really don't know what's good for you." The old man in the black robe took a deep breath, smiled coldly, and rushed forward, ignoring the injuries on his body. "Fight!" The two-winged snow eagle was stunned, and immediately became excited as if he had been injected with chicken blood. That old man said the word "fight," which was enough to prove that there must be treasures nearby. "Quick, quick, quick, follow him." It stared at the back of the old man in the black robe, and impatiently urged Qin Feiyang secretly. "Don't rush me, I'm not deaf." Qin Feiyang angrily stared at it, jumped down the ice peak and landed on the snow below, and then quietly followed up. In his heart he was also quite surprised. What could make two battle saints fight with their lives on the line to obtain it? The old man in the black robe was seriously injured, and his speed was not even half of his usual, so Qin Feiyang had been following behind him. About a few hundred breaths later, an ice valley appeared in front of them. The old man in the black robe did not stop, and directly rushed into the ice valley. Qin Feiyang and the two-winged snow eagle looked at each other, and cautiously followed in. But when they entered the ice valley, they were dumbfounded. The ice valley was not very big, about a few hundred feet, and was surrounded by ice peaks, and there was only one narrow entrance. Looking around, there was nothing at all, and the old man in the black robe had disappeared. The two-winged snow eagle looked around the ice valley in surprise. The ice valley was only so big, and there was no place to hide. That old man could not have disappeared from the world, but where was he? Qin Feiyang was also looking around, and suddenly his eyes locked on the ice peak in front of them. He saw a dark cave in the ice wall. Could he have entered the cave? Qin Feiyang muttered, and turned into a stream of light, silently landed in front of the cave, and poked his head to look inside. Inside it was pitch black. But with Qin Feiyang's current cultivation, he could clearly see that there was an ice tunnel under the cave. "Be careful." Looking at the ice tunnel, Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed slightly, and he secretly warned the two-winged snow eagle and jumped in. It was very cold inside, and the chill was bone-piercing, but the man and the eagle could still bear it. Qin Feiyang walked along the tunnel, and found that the tunnel was slanted downward, as if it led to the underground. And the deeper they went, the more shocking the chill in the tunnel was. After walking for about 1,000 meters, Qin Feiyang's lips were frozen stiff. The two-winged snow eagle lying on Qin Feiyang's shoulder also curled into a ball, shivering. "Damn it, why is it so cold?" Secretly cursed. There must be something wrong when things are out of the ordinary. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he could not help but quicken his steps and rushed down. Not a single sound was heard. Even his breathing and heartbeat were controlled to the lowest level. After a while, they finally sensed the aura of the old man in the black robe, and he was not far below. And here, Qin Feiyong felt that his limbs were almost frozen stiff. Frowning, Qin Feiyong walked down quietly, and soon he came to a turn. But just as he turned the corner, he retreated like lightning, held his breath, hid behind the ice wall and looked around. In front of him was an ice cave of about 100 feet, and the old man in the black robe was standing in the middle of the ice cave. And in front of the old man in the black robe, there was an ice blade floating. The ice blade was only a foot long, and it was as if it was condensed out of ice, crystal clear, and had a hazy luster. At the same time, the ice blade was spewing out wisps of white mist, and this white mist was the chill. So it's so cold here, and it's all because of this, the two-winged snow eagle secretly muttered. But soon after, its eyes were filled with excitement. Qin Feiyong was the same, because the ice blade was faintly emitting a holy aura. This was enough to prove that it was a holy artifact. Naturally, no one would complain about having too many of such treasures. Finally got it. With it, my Blue Sea tribe is destined to become the overlord of the 3rd district, even surpass the Pill Pagoda. At the same time, the old man in the black robe stood in front of the ice blade, extremely excited, and his face was full of greed. Surpass the Pill Pagoda. Qin Feiyong was surprised. This old man's ambition was not small. It seemed that this Blue Sea tribe also had a certain level of strength in the 3rd district. Otherwise this old man would not dare to have such ambition. But in Qin Feiyong's view, this person was a frog at the bottom of a well. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.